Today on Mob Rules.
We talk about assassins.
And then more assassins. And also things we've done related to the hobby. And
assassins.
And what about those other assassins?
All the assassins and not much else on Mob Rules.
I've just been murdered. Welcome to Mob Rules.
Jumping
right in.
Some number.
Yeah, 54?
Yeah,
3?
maybe.
Ted, you can fix that.
It's definitely higher than 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
But probably less than... welcome to an episode of Mob Rules somewhere between number 3 and 1,000.
Yeah. This is well planned.
We know ours math.
I want to thank the people who retweeted the episode link on the Twitters and actually put in this swole hashtag.
Oh, yeah.
You poor bastards have been listening since the start.
Yeah, I got a message from someone that said that they have there's a gym in the town where they live that's called Swole, and he said it's just got a giant sign that says Swole on it. He's like, no hashtag, but a giant Swole, and I was like, you need to put that hashtag in there.
You know what is a giant swole? Is an Imperial Night cockplate.
Damn it! Now I'm actually going to have to make the shirt. All right.
I've been telling you that for literally 2 years.
Yeah.
I think you should make gym shorts.
Oh, yes. Yes. I think Redbubble has that option where you get like all the different like swimwear and like all this other
logo
shit.
right on the crotch.
Yeah.
Swole. Hashtag swole. Right on the crotch.
Speedos. Mob Rule Speedos.
Oh no! Like you have your Imperial Eagle. Ted, your phone is just messing with my cheap
Well, at least
wires.
I know that we're on number 54.
I'm glad we got that out of the way.
But no, we could do like a speed, like or spin. No one wants these speedos, like swim trunks.
Nobody wants Speedos.
But like have the
It'll be huge in the Italian market.
the Imperial the Imperial Aquila. Obviously not copyright infringing, so maybe give it 2 eyes on those eagles.
Or have one of them winking.
just hashtag swole.
Swole.
Right over the ass.
Oh gosh, because I think we were talking about making this shirt was going to be like just like a close up of the Imperial Night cockplate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I thought would be really. I didn't really think of it. I thought of it as like a T-shirt, but I guess like as like
I think
shorts or something like that, having like the Imperial Night cockplate over your cock.
Yes.
no leggings. Leggings
Yeah, for
with
sure.
Imperial Night legs. Make yourself an Imperial Night. Especially for our one listener who got his girlfriend to follow me on Twitter because he doesn't have a Twitter account.
Oh, what a lad. And ladette.
Doesn't he know that it's free, Twitter?
I know, and honestly,
He might have like one of those like a court thing, where they're
like he
not-
has to stay away from computers.
He has to stay 50 yards away from all computers.
You've downloaded all the porn, which is created a problem with.
Or maybe he has like a real job where if he's found that he's downloading our episodes, then he might get fired.
Or maybe it's
like you're listening to this filth, you're out.
It's probably just a chick that doesn't want to admit that she listens to our show.
Oh, that's true.
It's understandable.
I would understand that too.
Girls often don't want to be associated with us in any way possible.
Man, that's like all my middle school career.
I've been planning for this
Aside
since middle
from
school.
Twitter, where I'm getting like retweets from random bots, especially like I put that the retweet or I put up about the Imperial Night kit for Blood Angels with those ridiculous abs.
I missed that.
But because I
gotta be on Twitter more often.
But because I used the word abs in it, like some random bot replies with, "Ooh, baby, looks great." And I'm like, shut up. You don't even know it's a miniature.
You don't know me or my abs.
But no, it's like
she
you know,
was
like,
a bot interested in bot abs.
So you know, like Shapeways does like the 3D printed like parts and accessories. Yeah. It's like literally like a like sanguineous mask for an Imperial Night, and then really sick abs and nipples,
like sick abs,
like sick abs.
Yeah, like he's gonna do laundry on those.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But yeah, I was like sick abs, man. And some random Twitter bot's like, send me all your money and credit card information, and I love your abs.
Oh, thanks.
And 3 months later, John now has a second wife.
And sadly, not sick abs.
I was duped.
Yeah, exactly. She lives in Russia, but she's probably real and not just some bearded guy in a basement.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
There you go, Adam. You got your pun.
Yeah, you got your puns.
There's your one pun for today.
There, yeah, all right. Mark it down.
We've hit our limit. It's a one pun limit.
And thank you for joining us for episode 54.
And that's it.
So we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Easy. Done.
Yeah, that was,
all right.
that was a
Moving
good
on.
Anyway.
What have you guys been up to? Ted?
Because
Because mine kind of leads into Phil's because I haven't done anything really.
got back into the Red Wa.
Oh,
Oh,
sweet.
really?
Right.
Oh,
Are
nice.
you 7th editioning it for the Red Wall?
We are 8th editioning it.
Ooh, that's cool.
So I think like we went round and round on like whether or not we're going to use formations or not, and I think like we ended up not using formations and a lot of the special rules because I think a lot of them could. I mean, they port over easy. Of course, they're broken, but it's a narrative campaign. Who cares?
Yeah.
So
Me, a little fella.
I know, which often comes up in conversation. Remember that time that John? Never mind.
Nope.
Well, I think for part of it, like I think the next, I think like one of the missions coming up because we were almost done before we stopped. Which is good for most narrative campaigns. Usually, it just starts and then they stop. That's true. But I think we were talking about because I think like the next one is like an epoch level game. So if you want to get in on it, so like 2 orcs versus them. But of course, like it'd be getting rid of like all like the weird special rules, so you don't have to worry about free macro cannons.
Well, that's not really a weird special. That's just free battlefield terrain.
Yeah. Oh man.
That also shoots.
But we got a 4-up invulnerable save. It was amazing. That when we fail it, it kills us.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, like giving benefits like 4-up invulnerable saves is great, unless it's someone at this table who cannot roll a 4-up invulnerable save.
I'm sitting right here, life. John. I can hear you.
Take off your headphones.
Take off your headphones. We can't pass saves. Oh, it's easy. You just have to. Oh, and he's dead.
Yeah.
But man, I got my ass handed to me. Like I went through, like read the fluff. Like before each game, I go through and like read the fluff up to that point, so I know like kind of what's going down with it. And so like I made my list on that. It's like lots of boys. I think there's a few tanks. So I used the oh my god, the rules for the orc big track in the
disgusting.
Yeah, because like they don't have looted vehicles anymore, so I use those instead. And I think like the cost wasn't a whole lot. You can go 14 inches and still fire your main weapons.
Giggity.
You could put the super cannon on it, which is just disgusting.
Nice.
So I used that instead. And I think you also get like a 5-up invulnerable save.
Mm-hmm.
That's fancy. It's really tasty. And
literally,
I think 160 points.
All of the orc imperial armor units from Forge World are disgusting now. Like the squiggles are horrible. And it's good times.
So I did that. I brought a Stampa because at some point they're like, a giant walker fell to the ground. I'm like, well, why not bring a Stampa?
That sucks a little more now from Forge World.
So I didn't use the Forge World variant.
You use the regular one?
So
40 wounds or something like that now?
Gross. Right.
Gross, awesome.
It never fell. I think he started like plinking away on it and like, nah, I'm done. That's it. You can have it.
Shoot with all my last get.
Unfortunately, like
still got 30 left.
The second turn, like I rolled. What did I do? I think I rolled like double ones or whatever I didn't roll 2 6s or whatever because I think it's like either double ones or double 6s. You're all out of ammo and you can't fire. So I tried to fire that second time, got 2 6s. Like hell yeah, no, wait,
wait.
And so I lost my Giga Shooter.
This is good, also bad.
So I think like the Stampa was okay, but playing against Space Wolves and like the Thunder Wolves are disgusting.
Really?
Yeah, because you got like all your normal attacks that you had before, plus the wolves get to attack, and they're doing it at like strength 5. So I think they gave them, I can't remember if they're 2 or 3 wounds, but you had storm shields and like all that stuff. So it was just like the amount of attacks that they put out was ridiculous.
I hate storm shields.
Yeah, you're like, finally I get an addition where I can get save modifiers. No. Okay.
I, on the other hand, love storm shields as the Marine player.
I do have 10 Terminators.
So I think I lost that game something like 11-2 or something. It was really bad. But yeah,
no, not terrible. And then you're continuing your surgery on the Derrideo Dreadnought. Right,
yeah. Frankenstein.
Yeah, up to I think you're up to now 17% Citadel miniature, 83% Plasticard.
Yeah.
Oh no, 60% Plasticard, 23% brass.
Yeah. There you go. But it's almost done.
And
yeah.
40% Dolomite.
Dolomite, motherfucker. So yeah, it's almost done. I think there's some shin plates, but by the time this comes out, like it should be done.
It'll look right.
Yeah, because
you're gonna be painting that too for him.
No.
Okay. Oh, it's a shame almost.
I would kind of like to, but
yeah.
I'll let him do that because I have other things to work on. But I have like this. I got this not so Warhammer related, but a buddy of mine works for the Tribal Health Consortium, and we printed out like this. They had CAD drawings of this village they're going to move. I think it's a village in Newtok. They're making it Martovik or something like that. But it's due to all the weather erosion. There's all these like villages in Alaska that are. There's no such thing as global warming.
Yeah, but they're all falling into the ocean for unknown reasons.
So this one, because of the Chinese apparently.
Probably.
So they're moving it to. They're moving it, and they got all the CAD drawings of this whole area. So they printed out 3D printed like this 4 foot by 2 foot diorama of the village, and so I'm going to kind of clean it up and paint it. Wow. So it's all
that's cool.
Yeah, it's all the nerd skills actually coming to use.
You should play like a kill team game on there before you give it back to them.
The buildings are smaller than Monopoly pieces.
Yes,
to scale.
Very
all right,
small.
fine. That's Shadow Wars. I don't know. Whatever.
Dude,
whatever. Some game.
Play some Epic.
Just whenever anything dies, you have to like Godzilla.
Yeah, they would love that if you have giant like stomped pieces right through it, right?
It might actually work for Titanicus.
There you go.
So hurry up and make an eBay order quick. It's due on the 19th. But yeah, it's been kind of fun. I think like working with 3D print has been kind of a pain in the ass, at least on that level.
Yeah.
I think like trying to fill in on the gaps and everything. I know there's like really nice 3D printers, and I like the guy I work with. However, it's not a really detailed 3D printer. Granted, when you're doing like a 4 foot by 2 foot
you have
piece,
limited options.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I think that's all I've been. I started working on the Morkanaut again.
Nice,
but that's about it. I'll show you pictures later.
Nice.
Yeah.
No listeners though. You guys
just you guys. Like, hey guys, look at this.
Yeah.
Here's this thing that nobody else can see.
Oh man, great radio.
Yeah, it's great. I like your beard.
We have the best pictures in radio.
Our audios might not be good, but our picture is fantastic.
All right, John, what have you been doing?
My kids, my daughter came up to me and she was like, "Hey Dad, can I paint a model?" And I'm like, "Yes, let me grab all of the things." Yes. And then my son's like, "I kind of want to do one too." So they're like 12 and 8. So
man,
we sat and we had a little hobby afternoon.
There you go.
Got me in a little
That's
trouble
great.
with like my daughter a long time ago. She got like the Dark Vengeance box set because she was moderately interested.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "I'm 10, I don't care about this." But now she's a little bit older. So she put together some like Ravenwing bikers and things like that. And like I'm sitting there like planting little fluff seeds in her head the whole time. I found I had a almost unopened Stormclaw box from back in the day. Wow. So I had like a Space Wolf side.
Oh yeah.
You know when it's a Space Wolf Space Harper? So I started like, "Hey son, these things are like super cool. Space Viking Warrior Wolf." And he's like, "Yeah, that sounds cool." So we sat down and built like a squad of the Terminators. What are they called? The
Wolf Guard?
Wolf Guard. Yeah. The Wolf Pups. The Pup Guard. And built those guys. And I let him hobby how he wanted to. But I do also want to help him play the game a little bit if he wants to. So I was like, pick one weapon. That's what the squad has. Because he's like, this guy should have a hammer, and this guy's going to have claws, and this guy's going to have a pistol, and this guy's going to have this gun. And I'm like, what if they all had claws like Wolverine? Yeah, so bribing it that way. So I had a very enjoyable little morning kind of while they were doing that stuff there.
You really screwed yourself. I just have to say, like, once he gets like a copy of Ajax and Logan and can like reroll and add a whole bunch of stuff, like it's the end of times.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to pit them against each other because I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, okay, that's good. So he doesn't defeat your desire to play the game.
I was going to say,
a lot cheaper.
I'm waiting for like 3 weeks when you lose your first game to your 10-year-old son.
Oh,
no. Hey, you guys playing Infinity these days?
Yeah, John's gonna come back. Welcome to Mob Rules, the Infinity podcast. Since I don't want to play that stupid game anymore.
Shut up, guys. I don't play this
Losing
anymore.
against 8-year-olds.
But I thought it was great because I mean they're at the age now where they're like arguing with each other constantly, and they're like they tolerate each other right now. But the son is totally interested in Space Wolves, and the daughter is totally interested in Dark Angels.
That is,
and I'm like, yes.
Awesome and totally fluffy.
One is a crazed monster of wants to fight everything, and the
other is Space Wolves.
It's like, and the other is a very secretive, moody person who spends a lot of time in their room away from people, and it works out perfectly.
Perfect.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So while they were doing that, I tried to build. I bought one of the shit, what's it called? This Stormwing Interceptor, the one from the Death from the Skies supplement.
Oh, the one with like the shield window.
Yeah, like the shielded blast window. Because I mean, God, that's such a pretty model.
Yeah,
it looks really cool.
Also, like when I read the guns I had, I'm like, yes, I do want one of these. So I built that up and kind of got that painted up a little bit. I painted an assault squad.
Okay.
So I'm trying to go through my things that are kind of like semi-assembled, where I'm like, ooh, a piece of candy. And I move away and I build something else. So I finished up that one. I also worked on my Primaris Marines a little bit.
Okay.
Finished up my kind of orangey yellow and those guys.
Cool. Yeah.
And moved on. And then I pulled out my Tyranids for a game against Phil.
Yes, he did.
I heard that for every 5 rule violations you do, you get the 6 for free.
Really?
So he has 37 free ones available to him.
God, I made so many mistakes.
You didn't make so many. You made a few. The internet literally always yells at me at every battle report. So, this was not.
And half the time the internet's wrong.
You know, when I didn't reply to a single comment section this time because I knew a lot of stuff, but some of the comments I got were the genuine greatness of this Tyranid player's army is only 1,292 points.
Yeah, although he went back and he redid it. And now is actually 1,429. So you were actually very close.
But yeah, and I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure it's no.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'll let him know.
Okay though, and it's like,
yeah.
Hey,
was he saying that you were over or under?
No, under, like way under.
Sure, it says 300 points under, and I'm like, no.
So what were you playing? 1,500?
1,500.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I wanted to do kind of a smaller game because I'm still new at this
Warhammer giant thing.
Noob. And then it was like there's things like I put my exocrine up a level instead of on the floor, and I'm like, all right, I'll give you that. I shouldn't have done that, but I don't know.
I also didn't care.
Yeah,
so.
we didn't care. It was a blast.
It was a lot of fun.
It kind of really, it was very cinematic, like the whole way through.
Mm-hmm.
Like things happened in a way that they would happen, in quote unquote real life. Like the mass hordes kind of rushed forward and got pounded into the dirt by the highly trained Marines.
But they took out like a few, so it was like. They were like weathering like the tides of the little Ghiblies as they came and like swarmed in on them.
You brought a horde. Then.
Yeah.
Horde. I did forget about synapse creatures though.
Yeah,
and I even forgot that one thing was a synapse creature.
What do they do in 8th?
They ignore
fearless.
morale.
Yeah, they make them fearless.
Oh God!
So with leadership 5 cons, like I should have taken more synapse.
Because orc mob rule is great up until it's not. And then you're like, oh, there's my unit.
Yeah, where are those warriors?
Yeah. I'm gonna start fighting some more. Exocrines are disgusting. It was deleting a unit a turn by itself.
I highly recommend any Tyranid players out there to get some exocrines.
And also the main gun
Dust them
looks
off
like a
and put it
giant
back on
wang.
the table.
So
so it's like win-win.
Yeah, it's legitimately the only reason I owned one before. And I have another one down like with my Tyranids that I need to paint up now. But yeah, it was. I almost called it halfway through the game. Like, I have like 4 models left. I'm not winning. Whatever. It's all good. And then I was like,
you can't call it during a battle report.
Yeah, I know, John.
So that's what's like, fuck it, let's get. I think we had like 2 turns left or something like that.
Yeah.
And I had literally 2 models left on the table.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck it, let's just keep going. Yeah. Well, what's the worst that could happen? And apparently, this exocrine almost like tying the damn game.
Wow.
The worst he could do is just try to like take out every unit that I put next to the relic. And he was just like, I'm going to point at them and make them disappear because of my exocrine. And I was like, I don't know what to do.
So like the final thing it came down to was they managed to kill my Malanthrope. So it was just the exocrine left. Who was on almost full wounds, but because of the synapse rules, had to shoot at the nearest target. Now, he didn't move, so he gets to shoot twice. So with the first shot, he tried to delete the closest unit, which he did. And with my second shot, I tried to delete the unit holding the relic, and I fucked up dice rolls. Goddamn dice game.
Made it by one.
Every time.
Yeah, I had one guy left.
He had one guy left holding the relic. And so instead of like a 1-1 draw, it was like a 4-1 win. So it was like... For the fact, like I said, I had 1 model left on the table. Yeah. Super, super close.
Yes. Did you get like underdog points or anything? Or?
I gave myself 5 victory points for underdog.
There you go.
So I technically
Fair.
won.
Yeah. So it was a moral victory for him. But technical victory
it was
for me.
a real victory. 5 points is more than 4.
It's like you guys
math that. Come on.
You guys have both played
Math
me. I don't get moral victories if they don't happen. So for the game, here's my Fire Raptor. Yeah, I know I'm running Tyranids.
So did you enjoy Tyranids more than Eldar? Was this your first time using Tyranids?
Yeah, it was. So I've used Eldar like 3 times. The same list like 3 times. Tyranids, like I said, I had way more fun with it. mainly because like what they were doing, like I wasn't really trying to be tactical about it per se. I was just kind of like rushing, like a swarm would do this, run forward, eat things,
and they do that well.
Whereas with when I was playing Eldar, I'm like, okay, fly means I can break away from combat and shoot again. So I guess wave serpents are gonna like Roomba and bump up the table, like really piss off everyone's shooting phase, and like because the way I was playing my Eldar was, I'm gonna deny you your phases and control what you're doing. It wasn't really a fun interactive game because it was literally me going, you can't shoot, you can't shoot, you can't shoot. Oh, my tank takes a wound. Okay.
Yeah.
Next turn.
Yeah.
So, I mean, while tactically it's great, and like if I'm doing competitive Eldar, yeah, I'm going to max out on wave serpents as much as I can for that exact reason. Tyranids was just a lot more fun. Like I said, I mass Griblies, like turn 1 charging with my Hormor guns, and like 6-inch bounding leaps to kind of go in, and like, dude, I failed morale tests left and right, but I'm like, man, that makes way like sense that those guys are just like, rapid firing their bolters in the face and kind of barely surviving.
Shreds of carapace.
I mean, Azrael's a broken piece of shit.
Yeah, it's true. I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't respect anybody who takes that model.
I wouldn't play him in a game.
I think they're all pedophiles. So actually, I wouldn't talk to anybody who owns Azrael.
No, that's not true.
How would you know it's secret? But yeah, a lot of fun. So like I said, I think I'm gonna. Let's see, and I still want to do my Marines because I'm still trying to fist into 8th, but like the Tyranids
gentle fisting, as in no fist use whatsoever,
as in not using them at all.
The Tyranids were so much fun, but I think with the flight
path
over my house,
oh god,
but I think
they heard that somebody was using Azrael.
The changes to the Forge World rules for the Space Marines, where I can actually take a Spartan now without having to take 17 other Lords of War for it.
Oh man,
because
that wasn't a Lords of War before. Like that was just a heavy.
So a new rules. It was like a Lord of War, and the rules for Relic Lords of War. Or the rules for Relic is you couldn't take more relics than non-relics in that slot. So there was no way of doing it without taking 2 other Lords of War. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm taking 2 Terminus Ultras. But now there's a Forge World where you can have a single Lord of War. Relic Lord of War, so I can actually take my Spartan.
Okay.
But yeah, I just need to build like 20 last cannons. Because fuck last cannons.
Last cannons are fun, man.
Yeah.
Except when you roll 1s like me all day long.
So I think what I'm going to move to is I'm going to kind of build a list around not Robute Gulliman. Leading my Imperial Fists.
You mean Dorn?
I mean, the resurrected Dorn with the Ultramarine logos. And then a Fire Raptor Stormhawk Interceptor combo in the backfield, just raining down thousands of shots.
Yeah, gross.
That's the dream.
That's gross.
It's pretty gross. I like it.
It is super gross. But yeah.
And last cannons. All the last cannons.
All the last cannons. I'm telling you, last cannons are the wave of the future.
Unless you can get laser destroyers.
Yeah.
It's D6 plus 3.
It's pretty nice.
Okay.
Really?
Right.
So it's like a last cannon, I believe, is D6 plus 3. As opposed to, it was like, hey, do you like, I think someone put up Facebook today in one of our local groups. It's like, hey, do you enjoy having the most powerful weapon in the game? If so, take laser destroyer batteries. Yeah, they're pretty broken fun.
Nice.
Phil.
Yes.
You usually Warhammer more than both of us combined. Right, Ted? So what have you been up to?
Warhammering more than you and Ted combined. Playing a bunch of
done, sir.
That's done. We'll wrap up.
Let's get back to our main subject. So assassins.
So I've been playing a lot of games. Obviously, that's what I've been doing. I've been painting up my my Primaris Marines. I've gotten all of them except for the jump pack dudes painted up. They look really cool. I've been super excited. They are a lot of fun to paint.
Are they? Okay.
They are a lot of fun to paint, the Primaris guys. There's just a nice size to them. They build easy and then they paint really well.
I have to say, after kind of like doing my like dry brushing base coats for my Primaris and my Assault Marines, it felt way more satisfying doing the Primaris than it does the Assault Marine. Little skinny chicken leg bros.
Yeah, it's nice painting the Primaris Marines. They're really a fun model to paint, and I kind of came up with my own like livery and stuff like that for them. So I gave different shoulder pads for the different roles that they play and the different roles that they take. And
this guy's a cook.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
This guy's a top.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been painting those, and I also painted my first banner that I've ever painted before, and it came out actually pretty well. I was pretty excited about it. Yeah, I was pretty excited about how it came out. So I was excited about that. So I've been painting them, and now I've just built and primed my first Lehman Russ for my Gene Stealer cult. So I'm going to start working on that guy because I realized that my Gene Stealer cult army was like just barely 1,500 points. So I was like, it's kind of hard to get bad reps with them if it's only 1,500 points. And then the FAQ came out and made them even cheaper.
Oh, shoot.
Made my Gene Stealers even cheaper. So I was like, all right, well, okay.
Anybody down with a 200-point game?
Exactly. So it's like, okay.
Someone was like, hey, how come these Gene Stealers cost much more than these Gene Stealers? They don't FAQ things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was like, and at first I was okay for them costing more. I'm like, well, we do get we do get Cult Ambush. I like that. That sounds good to me. And then the FAQ comes out and is like, oh, by the way, they're cheaper. And I was like, all right, that's awesome, but also crap. I've got to paint a whole lot more of these things. Yeah. This is my first time even painting anything resembling. Close to resembling a horde army, so
not green.
Yeah, not green or not just like power armor. So they're my first non-power armor army. So it's taken a bit to get used to painting. Like it's like, all right, I painted 20 models. That must be 3 points. Okay, cool. Thanks very much. Appreciate that.
Man, what's that? Dry brushing and taking pictures from 3 feet away. Say what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, or you could just convince yourself that you like a darker aesthetic. And you don't need highlights. So
I think the funniest thing...
It works really well from a tabletop standard.
The funniest thing for me for our game, and I'm going to record this next time it happens, was like I would say, okay, like Phil in his battle reports, he'll set up like the units so you can take like individual pictures so you can see the units. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, here's 30 Hormigons, here's 30 Termagants, here's 25 Gargoyles. And seeing Phil spend literally 5 minutes a unit setting it up.
Oh, man, that's brutal.
So he spends 5 minutes setting up this unit, and then he's like,
hey, Phil, that guy looks better up front.
Yeah,
that one's kind of like leaning up a little bit more. Put him in the back.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You're a photographer.
No, I don't do that. He's a professional. I don't want to get in his way. But
he's wrong.
He spends 5 minutes setting up these units so it looks all good, and your light hits him just right. And then he's like, and we have a 30-man Hormigan squad. And then he takes them all down. And spends like 5 minutes putting them away, and then next unit up. It's a sight to behold. It's quite fantastic.
Yeah,
I think the last game we played, it was like, all right, get everything shot. Oh shit! And he put everything away, and it's like, oh, I forgot a unit. Set up the lights, set up the camera, set up everything else.
Ted.
No, man, it's cool. It's cool. It's all right.
No, it's all good. It was cool.
I think next time we play, I'm going to do like a behind the scenes where I just film your back the whole time.
Film my back, yeah. Or you could just do like a face cam of me. Just like,
you know what?
Staring at my camera.
Next time you do that, like next time you're like, all right, and 25 Hormigons, haven't put it, you put it away, and like, oh shit, it's actually 28. Can you redo that?
I think, based on how you did my gargoyles, the response would be like, fuck it, I'll just edit it and save it 28 later. Because I think we only managed to get like 20.
You're like, ooh, I forgot 3 of them. I'm like, yeah, they're good. No one's gonna count
the internet will know. The internet will know.
Exactly. He said that was like, when you set up the unit, there was only 27 in there, not 30.
It happens. I had one time when I wanted to run. This is in 7th edition. I wanted to run the first curse, but I only had 14 Gene Stealers painted up. Mm-hmm. So I was playing Matt Morse, and I told him, I was like, hey, they're going to be a 20-man squad, but what we're going to do is like the first couple that die, we're just going to take them, from the front, and I'll just put them into the back until we get up to the 20-man squad, just because I don't have these painted, but I need them for this first curse thing. And he's like, yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. I'm like, I don't think the internet will notice. Literally, like, the second comment that came up on the battle report was like, oh, it didn't look like you had all 20 Gene Stealers in there. And I was like, God damn it. Yeah, you're right. I know.
Violated your own rule,
man.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm like, dang it. So, but yeah. It's surprising what you can do with a pause.
Oh yeah, that's good times. Okay, well, I think that's everything we've been up to.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm gonna keep on with my Imperial Fists, whether it kills me. I suck at painting black over dark color or over light colors.
Yeah,
and the way I paint my Imperial Fists is essentially I'm painting a lot of black.
Yeah.
I'm like,
putting black on top of
yellow.
Ooh, I could not do that on top of yellow because yellow is the bane of my existence.
Yeah,
yellow and white
like,
are the bane of
my existence.
my
If I'm doing
existence.
pauldrons, especially on the Primaris, and they're like a little bit of black hits the shoulder, I'm like, fuck!
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. It's a battle scar. And they kept moving on.
Yeah.
But
add a little bit of silver in the inside.
Yeah, and you're good. Looks like scratch.
So I have a Predator that I'm in the middle of making.
Nice. I love Predators, man.
It's an autocannon
so
heavy bolter Predator. It's pretty cool.
So it's like the exact opposite of the one.
The exact opposite of the one. Because I'm like, no, I'm not.
You're like, what options do you have? The opposite of it.
And then, just my Primaris, continuing those Primaris guys.
Yeah. I'm excited for the Reavers coming out.
Oh god, those are sexy. And
remember
only like $20 for a box or $12 local store.
15.
Yeah,
15 for
$5 a guy. That is amazing.
That's super good.
Like that is way cheaper than anything that's come out in a while.
Seriously.
It's to the point where I'm going to buy a box specifically to steal the head with the skull, so I can make a chaplain with an open skull.
That's a good idea.
Because like that's what I really like. As soon as I saw that
like
half
Legion of the
skull
Damned,
face with like I was like, I want to make a chaplain out of that model,
Yes.
just the head. And I'm like, but I'm not going to buy a $50 box just for one head. I'm like, I will buy a $15 box for one head.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
I'm
that's good.
super hyped
Well,
for
if you
those.
because you're buying the 2 boxes, right? So
Yeah.
you can run the 5-man squad and just have the one without the head.
Yeah, but then
That's what I need.
I can't run a 10-man squad when I probably will
Buy
run
the
a 10-man
other
squad
ones.
by the other ones.
Yeah. Well, if you want to run
Bits,
yeah.
man. It's all right. Bits are okay.
Because like someone pointed out on Twitter that they look like they're wearing capris. So I think my color scheme is going to involve flesh-colored shins
Jeez.
Nice.
because it's all I can see now. Is
Put
I'm
tube
wearing capris.
socks. Tube socks.
yeah.
Sport socks.
Yes.
Sport socks.
Those little white with the yellow band.
Stripes
Yeah.
around. Yeah, the stripes
Yeah.
around. Yes.
You're making chavs.
Yes.
That's it's a British reference there.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Like
I don't know what that is.
please old home. But yeah,
Literally none of us understand.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's great.
one more thing I want to touch on before we go to break and talk about kind of our main stuff.
No touching, John. We've talked about this.
Touchy.
Well,
Touchy?
it's already happened.
Touchy.
Is the was it the open war cards that are
Oh,
coming
yes,
out there?
those look
There's
so
the only
cool, too.
war.
I didn't watch that, or see that.
So
What's the deal with them?
it's like several decks of cards that they're coming out with, and you pick at random. This is kind of designed for open play or like like a narrative.
Yeah,
like,
Is it like a
fun-
Maelstrom
fun
kind of
games.
thing?
Sort of. So the first card you pull is going to be your mission objective. Like the one they show in the example is, I think it's sort of like the prize is what it's called, and that's the only objective. So it's kind of like the relic.
Yeah.
And whoever has the prize at the end wins.
Okay.
And then they have the deployment cards, and I essentially just won them for the deployment cards, to be perfectly honest. But you kind of pull what kind of deployment you're doing, and then they have my favorite thing, a ruse card.
Oh, what's that about?
The ruse deck. So if you have less power points than your opponent, you get to pull a ruse card, which is kind of like a tactical thing. You can pull like a missile strike or something like to kind of help you out. And then they have like the amazing deck where it's if you're like less than, or if your opponent has double the power points you have, you get this other deck of cards where you pull it and it's like a secret win condition.
Okay.
So like the card they used as an example was your commander kills their commander, you win regardless of anything else.
Okay.
So very
they
like
don't know
it
that.
just
You just like run your warlord up the table and you like declare, it's like I'm going to charge into him. It's like, all right, let's fight this out. That sounds great. He's killed him. It's like, all right, well the rest of my army go, oh no, I just won. It's like, damn.
which is very similar to kind of the sudden death from Age of Sigmar.
Okay.
That's what I think. That's what it's meant to be. Yeah.
The fact is like there's around 50,000 different combinations of missions
Oh,
from
shit.
the card
That's
deck.
dope.
And like
Looks
I said,
good.
it looks really rad. I'm super hyped for that.
And how many times have you gotten to the table and you're like, all right, let's play a game. What do you want to play? Oh, I don't know. So now you can just be like, all right, well, let's bust this out and we'll play.
That sounds
this
good.
one.
Have you
Yeah.
guys done the open play with power levels and
I
stuff?
haven't.
I haven't.
Oh no! I did do one game with power levels. It was a
Okay.
Garage Hammer game. Some guys, people.
Do you do
invited.
those?
I haven't. I did one game with
Are
it.
you allowed to do those?
No, actually, I'm
You're not allowed to do Garage
contractually not allowed. So at this point,
did it actually happen?
This is actually Dill talking right now. It's not actually Phil.
His contract with YouTube says
Yeah,
that
exactly.
he can only
I am
play
only
film
allowed
games.
to play film games.
Was it a game for fun? Or
Yeah,
did
it was just like a
okay.
fun garage game, Hammer game. So
you're not allowed to do those either.
I know, seriously, both things that I'm not allowed to do.
Wow.
And we played like an 80 power level point game, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and I think it was a lot. I mean, it was a hell of a lot easier to come up with a list for it because you just look through and you're like, okay, that's what that is. I'm going to put this gun on him. You know what I mean? And if you both go into it with an understanding that you're
not going to take 75 last kind of
not going to take 75
Or a
last
bunch of
kind
Thunderwolves with storm shields and thunderhammers.
Where
man,
did Kurt
that sounds-
touch you?
right in the fields,
right in the works.
right in the orcs,
Yeah, that was the game.
right in the wah.
The Red Wall game we played. It was power levels. And
Oh,
I was like, it's not a big deal. I'm not gonna put power claws in everybody.
You should
Oh,
put
why
power
didn't
claws
I
on everybody.
Yeah, yeah, and that's like one of those things. Is like if and
knob
they actually
squats?
talked about that at first. Like going into that, they were like not trying to like outdo each other's numbers. So I was like, all right, sounds good. So if you go into it with the mentality of I just want to bring a bunch of different units and you just like mix them up. Like I had a bunch of Terminators and I brought them, with some special weapons and stuff, but not like I wasn't like, all right, well then they're all going to have Thunderhammer Storm Shields. They're all going to do this.
Yeah.
It's like I brought it where it was like, all right, well this is this is cool. I want to have a plasma cannon on this guy, so I want to have an assault cannon on this guy. That sounds like fun. And you just take things, and it was pretty well balanced. Like it ended up being a pretty good game, and it was fun. So I liked it as long as but it has to be the kind of mentality that you go into it with. You know what I mean? I could sort of see how it would get troublesome if you're trying to do like a competitive tournament game, like that kind of thing, where there would be ways for certain units to totally because there's certain units in the game that don't have a lot of options, that their power level is probably very closely tied to what their points level would be. But then you have a lot of other units that have a lot of different options that they give the power level point is meant to be like the average of all the different options that you can get. So if you just heavy loaded to the top end of those, you would be getting off with a cheaper unit than you.
I get off on cheap units all the time. But I think that's an interesting point. I hadn't really thought about it. And to kind of go on a little bit further, is like it seems as though power level, if you are going to look at it in like the fairsies kind of aspect, it seems as though like the more elite troops are the ones that are going to do better than the others, because I know like with orcs there's not a lot of options. Like you want a big shooter, do you want a rocket launcher, do you want a power claw? That's all you get. And when you have like a massive block of guys, like a power claw isn't going to shift things a whole lot. It's going to be weighted boys, but you're paying for that.
I have a 10-man biker knob squad where everyone has a power claw. That's pretty similar power level to a 10-man biker knob squad where everyone has a stick.
Or like like a guardsman, like a platoon. If you've got all guys with las guns, or you have a bunch of guys with like special weapons, and you got a heavy weapons team with las cannons and stuff, power level they cost the exact same. But if you take the two, they're obviously very powerly different. When it comes down to it.
Like Kill Team is kind of that way too, where you can like really mod the crap out of your like Death Watch, right? And so like that becomes one where it's like really, or like Thunder.
Oh, you're right.
And stuff
I
like
can
that.
see that.
Like,
I could definitely see that if you're taking. The power level Kill Team, you could either have all people with bolters, or you could have all people with with frag cannons. And it's like that's
a
very
shield,
exactly
jump pack.
You got a 5-man squad with four frag cannons, or a 5-man squad with just bolters.
In Terminator
that's
armor
a little
on a
bit
bike.
different.
Riding in a Corvus Black Star
with servo skulls.
Thermo skulls everywhere. That'd be So that's the kind of thing. Is like I feel like power level is going to work. It's ideally suited for you going to have a fun game in the garage with your friend, and you know each other. So if your friend comes with only kill teams with frag cannons, you look him in the eye. Yeah, you look him in the you look him in the eye and you go, "That's a dick move." You know what I mean? But if you're going to a tournament and you can't, that's going to cause like salty, hurt feelings. Then that's
I have to say, like list creation was awesome. I was like, shit, I need 7 points. War boss in the power armor, or mega armor. Cool, done.
There you go.
All right, what does he have? Whatever shows up on the table.
What's on that? What's on this model that I picked?
I didn't have to go through each model and be like, what did I put on this guy? What did I? It's like, well, whatever shows up.
Did I remember the twin bolter on the on my interrogator chaplain on a bike? Oh, I don't know. Let me see.
Every list I've made has been just reams of paper and calculators and note taking and writing and
the thing is,
it's balanced and fun.
And it is getting faster for me. I've played a lot of games, but it is starting to get faster with me where I've back at the end of
millions of lists.
At the end of 7th, I could make a list with just my head. Like I remembered what everything was, how much it cost, and it's getting to
how do you hold
the
pencil?
What's up?
How do you hold a pencil?
With just like a fist, and I just kind of scratch it around. Yeah,
not
sure
just your head.
Thick ones.
Not use your head.
Yeah.
Shoved up your nose.
Yeah, exactly. But and it's starting to get to that point. Like I remember things like like I know 4 swords are 12 points. I know
they got to buy the index system.
Oh, that's right. But I can remember. I know the points for a lot of the weapons, and I know how I can start. And the units and stuff like that, like I can start doing in my head and figuring out what I need to do. So
doing
units. Take my unit and do it.
Well,
that's my middle school.
I think I want to end this segment suddenly from the shadows, so we can move on to talking about assassins.
The Shroud.
In our next segment, I'm going to call "We Talk About Assassins."
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you done with Exodus. Exit this.
Exit this.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the exit this temple and then refill our waters and empty our bladders and be back.
The new Mark IIIA uses a ceramite over steel with a buttress carbon composite frame.
What? Oh, yeah. Which one of those is it?
All of them.
Oh, neat. Hey, is this a cup holder?
Yes, the driver's compartment has a cup holder as an optional accessory.
No way. Shut up. Cup holders?
Well, not everybody has a life support system. So for the exploratory group of mortals we found,
Cup holders? I'll take it.
Mark 3A also has a traditional quad thermoreactor.
Hey, do you think I could try it out?
Well, of course, the ignition is on the dash right.
I brought my favorite travel mug. I got it in this amazing bakery in the Segmentum just outside of Armageddon a few years back. Oh my gosh. Perfect fit.
So anyway, as you can see, the new Mark 3A has a power coupler interface in the top hatch to allow for modular weapon components that can be...
Does this have a heater in it? I hate it when recaf gets cold. If the coffee holder had a heater, that would just make my day.
We hadn't considered that, as most trappers use a Stardate drivers, and most of you as Stardates don't drink recaf. But I suppose we could build you something.
Great, you tech priests are the best.
Do you want to see the comms unit specs?
Nah, I'm good.
Is there anything I can...
No, we'll take 11 of them. Thank you. The Emperor protects.
Space Marines hate change. How'd you ever convince him to upgrade to the new Mark 3A?
Cup holders, believe it or not.
Oh, cup holders.
Brand new Mars pattern Mark 3A Rhino. New with cup holders.
Schnick. That's an assassin right there. I don't know.
Oh, man.
Shit.
So what would Wolverine be? Would he be Evasaur?
Yeah,
Yeah?
I would say so. I mean, if you had to pigeonhole him into things like that, we're gonna get a lot more into comic book, what's the word I'm looking for? Inspirations.
Yeah.
But yeah, today we're talking about the Officio Assassinorum.
That's Latin for the office.
Yes.
The office ass man.
The ass man office. The assistant manager office.
It starts coming off the data slate, which is kind of where most of my information is from.
Yeah.
Thought begets heresy. Heresy begets retribution.
Oh.
So retribution of the Imperium is mostly
Thought killing.
thought killing. Yeah. Please don't think.
It's
I mean,
true. Fox and Friends.
you have your
say that.
Space Marines who go into your big Xenos conflicts and kind of your major chaos invasions and kind of kill everyone on the planet and then exterminate the planet. And then you have your Astra Militarum or your Imperial Guard who kind of deal with kind of planetary scale things and accidentally destroy the entire planet while they're saving it.
Yeah.
The assassins are there to really encourage people not follow the Imperial truth, just to double negative it. They're there to kind of remove the bad part but leave the planet intact mostly. And that's kind of the when it was originally formed. Oh shit! What was
so going back even further, like so the Officio Assassinorum started during the Great Crusade. However, before that, there was the 6 main temples existed prior to that, and I don't think there's a real record of when they showed up. It was, instead of temples, there were clades.
It was
right?
2018.
Oh, okay. So we got a couple of years.
Yeah.
So yeah, like they go back in memoriam, and I think like they changed things just slightly, but it was Malkador that brought the clades together, right? To talk about
Sigilate.
Yeah,
he was an assassin.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Malkador other than he's a tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a really good tank.
So he pulled them all together. I think this was on Mount Vengeance, right?
I love it because Meeting at Mount Vengeance sounds like my favorite prog rock album from the 80s.
And I think like everybody wore a mask, so nobody actually knew who one another was. So I think like all 7 of them were like
Eyes
covered.
Wide Shut, Sex Party style.
Oh yeah, dude. They had like a like their keys, except one had a little like sword, one had a little like syringe, one had like a little head thing.
Yeah.
This weird eye tunnel. So I think like secretly, of course, it was Vindicare, and I think like all the clades like were named after the temples that would later become like the 6 primary. So you had Vindicare, Eversor, Calexis, Calidus, Vanus, which we don't hear much about, and Venenum.
Vanilla.
Venenamin.
The vanilla one. Our old buddy Van Gorge from the Beast Arises was from there, as was that Beast Cruel.
Originally.
Originally, and then, no
He switch hit. Yeah, he got an assassin rechange.
Yeah.
He Bo Jackson.
He no longer identified as Fenelon. But yeah, that's not spoilers. Fuck you guys. You should have listened to those episodes. It was long ago.
Slash read the books like a year ago.
Yeah. So during the beheading, of course.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess we kind of pretend that we didn't read that series, right?
Yeah.
Nobody knows anything about it. So the Grandmaster killed the High Lords, of course.
Right. Well, as we saw in The Beast Arises, Van Gorich was like, "You guys are such dicks. You're doing it all wrong. You're all dead. Puppets, go. You're puppets now." And then he kind of went insane with power, but only after several hundred years of very good peace.
I don't know many sane 300-year-olds. So that's
true.
Or whatever.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then three combined Space Marine chapters came down, to Strike Force to kind of be like, well, we should probably stop him from being a benevolent dictator. And then he murdered most of them apart from one.
Oh, yeah. So
That's true.
So Thane walks away.
That's because they were wearing yellow armor. That's the first sign that they're all going to die. If they come in, if you're wearing yellow, you're going to die.
Who was it? Like the Halo Marines, or like, no, we're actually blue. No, paint it yellow. Like, this is like a red suit in Star Trek. What are we doing? No, I'm not going to paint this yellow.
Yeah, the 40K version of red shirts are yellow shirts.
It's funny. This Death Watch mission is very dangerous, and one of us will die. We'll take the Blood Angel, the Space Wolf, the Ultramarine, and the Imperial Fist.
5 of them. Fuck.
Damn it. Fuck.
Yeah. So I guess like what they didn't really talk about in the Beast Rises is that after Van Gorich died, the Imperium went into just total anarchy.
Yeah.
And they really never pulled their asses out. So I think like a lot of all that that we see today is still reminiscent of,
that's what happens when you kind of remove the entirety of government from a huge bureaucracy, and then have Space Marines who are like tools of war be like, okay, you guys are High Lords now, fucking fix it, I don't care. And they go kill chaos.
We can't govern. We're out.
That's what the Space Marines, they created the situation at the beginning because they're like, all right, we're in charge now, but we can't really be bothered to do this. So I don't know, the creepy guy in the robe, you're in charge now. We're just gonna fuck off across the universe for a couple hundred years. How's that sound?
The creepy guy in the robe's like, hey, can I run it? Fuck whatever, I don't care.
Sure, you do it. Yeah, whatever. You seem good. And then they come back like, oh,
you made me come
There's
back.
no way we could have seen this coming. And it's like, yes, literally everybody saw that coming.
So then we have the Age of Apostasies, and we got to cover this at one point. It just keeps on reoccurring. But we have Gorge Van Dyer, who is the coolest bad guy name ever.
I was thinking today, reading through the assassin stuff, I was like, man, I need a Beast Arises style series for the Age of Apostasies.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Seriously,
just all the crazy shit.
So he actually his thing, he was kind of created this
chicks with dicks.
So he had a really big thing with chicks with dicks, and there's the head of him was a chick with 2 dicks. It was
and
really
that's
hot.
why they can say, you say, I'm no man in my standing army, then no man.
Just their wing. Phil's kind of offended by
way lost.
It had nothing to do with anything.
Okay.
So Gorge Van
Back on
Dyer, so his whole mission, I think, or his thing was he was trying to he was creating the Imperium in his image or whatever. I think we talked a little bit about this during the Chaos or the Plague, the Death Guard thing, about how he sent 300 or 30 rather chapters into the warp, and only 1 and 2 halves showed up or whatever. But while everybody's gone, he ended up with this battle of it was War of Assassins. So he took the temples and almost pit them against each other. So you had Van Dyer assassins, and then you had assassins that were kind of trying to stop his bullshit. And so that went on. It was the War of Vindication.
It's like Hunger Games except for assassins.
Yeah, these aren't regular ass people. No, these are people that are junked up on a whole bunch of weird cocktails.
Exactly, Imagine
and can lift multiple semis.
Imagine the Hunger Games and insert assassins.
I think we just found. Rad.
I was going to say, I think we just found a multi-billion-dollar making movie right there.
Sorry, J Law, you don't cut it.
yeah, I'm sorry.
I would be okay with Calidus assassin.
Yeah.
Yes.
So eventually,
I've seen that miniature.
one of the assassins takes out Van Dyer, and that was the end of that.
Yeah. But it was after this that we need to regulate these guys, right?
So we have the Ordo Sicarius comes out of the Inquisition. They're like, wait a second, you guys are cray-cray. This whole unchecked power.
I'm sorry.
Who would have seen this coming? Having a whole crew of people whose job it is to just kill people when they want to, doing what they want.
It's as though they're like us, but better than us at this.
Imagine if we were also assassins. Who would have thought that this would have happened?
We cannot have groups with unchecked power going around just saying they're the law. Like, you guys do that.
Shut up.
Okay, but we're not trained killers. Actually, you are. No,
We also check ourselves. That's good, right?
Wait, hold on 1 second. Oh, that guy's dead. Mysterious causes. So he was wrong. So anyway, these guys are way worse.
So I think what was kind of interesting about this is that the Malcador had decided that, and this is kind of going back to almost like the Inception, was he kept this entire thing a secret, like the assassin temples were a secret to the Emperor.
Oh, he knew. He knew.
He probably did.
You know when your kid does something really shitty and he's like, I didn't do that. You're like, you know he did that.
Well, that's what happened. He was sitting on the throne and he was like, it's a little too quiet out there. He's like, it's not just quiet, it's too quiet out there.
All of my enemies are showing up with sniper bullets through their heads.
Yeah, Malcador, you know anything about this?
No.
You look dashing today, boss.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, can I get you some more toilet paper on the throne there? You good? Right.
Why would I know about a 50 caliber round going through someone's head?
Yeah.
I didn't say it was 50 caliber.
I'm pretty sure you did. Well, we'll check the tapes later, but I'm pretty sure you did. Yeah. He was actually, I'm just going to insert this because this is a little bit of information that I have, was that he was actually secretly the original Grandmaster of the Assassins, Malcador.
Oh.
Yeah, so and he was the first director Primus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Known as Sire Vindicare. So he was that's why I'm getting
okay.
The original.
He was like the
Vindicare.
original Vindicare guy. Yeah.
Wow.
Malcador the Sigilate.
Malcador was
That guy
a sniper.
was a badass.
Okay.
That guy was
he was
real
not just
badass.
a tank.
Not
just a pretty tank.
Not just a pretty tank anymore. He could also shoot you from a distance. Also, he could wasn't he the one that also died on the throne?
Yeah.
So he could do a lot of things.
He was
could shoot
everything.
you. He could be a tank. He could die on the throne.
From what I understand, he was a really good
long list of things on his resume.
He was a good ceramicist too,
Yeah,
from what I remember.
exactly.
Yeah.
I love now that we are in a situation where it can be like, who would win in a battle between Lehman Russ and Malcador? And you're like, I need more qualifiers.
Yeah. Are we talking about the tanks named after them? Or are we talking about them fighting each other?
Yes.
Are we talking about their ability to sit on a throne and then die?
That's a tough one. This is like a Marvel what if.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
What do we do here? We got to research Malcador a little bit more.
Yeah, that guy is
I'm starting to think that he could take him.
Yeah.
I mean, from a distance.
Yeah. And to be fair, if you're going to have a tank named after you and you're also a Vindicare assassin, I can understand why he thought he could sit on that throne. He's like, psh, I've done all this stuff. I could sit on a seat, right?
Isn't a Malcador doesn't it fire massive blasts of destruction and everything everywhere?
It's
Isn't it
super
a
heavy.
fancy basilisk?
Yeah.
What has that got to do with sniping?
No, it's got everything to do. That references what happened to his butt when he sat on the throne. It was like it will do to you what was done to my butt when I sat down on the throne.
Listeners, if you want to send me pictures of a red ring on your Malcador super heavy tanks, maybe as a campaign symbol,
maybe a couple corn chunks on the side.
Yeah, then I would appreciate that.
So, of course, if you with the Beast Arises, we know that the Grand Master of the Assassins sat on the High Lords of Terra, and so I think he did that even after Van Gorge left, right? So we had the Grand Master sitting there. Sorry,
he was on the. They were the high
lords.
High lords. They were one of the High Lords, and then they were like, "You guys are crazy. Yeah. We're not going to make you a High Lord." And that's when Van Gorge was like,
"Fuck you guys!
Yeah, I want to be it again, so I'm going to kill you all."
They currently still have him on, or one of an assassin.
So now
right?
there's always an assassin
okay.
who is a High Lord. The Grandmaster Assassin is always a High Lord of Terra. The way they balance it now is to release a single assassin. It takes a 2/3 majority vote from the High Lords. So 8 out of 12 people have to agree that an assassin is a good idea.
Because traditionally the assassins are really good at listening to other people telling them what they should and shouldn't do. So they never send out any assassins other than
I
the
feel
ones that
after the issues they've had over the last 10,000 years, there's a lot of people who are like, I know you're the Grandmaster of Assassins. I have 75,000 guns trained at you right now. So yeah, let's just do it the right way this time.
Okay. Yeah. Well, as long as you're not checking out that secret tunnel I've got underneath every one of the temples, we'll be okay. Yeah. We've got all the roads covered. It's like good. That's
Cover
just
the
what we wanted you
roads.
to do.
So each of the temple heads are a director. I think, like Phil, you kind of mentioned that, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the subjects are picked up at a young age, often as orphans.
Yeah, I was going to say the majority are orphans,
Yeah.
which makes my first comic book reference of Assassins or Batman.
Oh.
I'm Batman. Orphan children, often from terrible situations.
Feral
usually.
worlds, their
Feral
parents died,
worlds.
something like that.
Yeah, their parents accidentally, wink, wink, died.
Yeah.
And they're ferried back to Terra on these almost like inquisitorial black ships, but assassin ships, where essentially Ender's Game happens.
For 10 years.
For 10 years. It's like Orson Scott Card Ender's Game, where like, okay, kids, let's do these tests. By the way, you have 20 minutes of oxygen. I'll see you in an hour. Hope you survive. And then by the time they get to Terra, usually only about 10% of the original recruits are left. Mm-hmm. Which is crazy. And then they go to like assassin school, and I'm sure that's a great Japanese anime. But then the
I've
guys
also heard it's very expensive because it's out of state. So
It's out of state tuition.
it's out of state tuition they have to pay.
what I thought was
They're gonna
great
bill their dead parents.
when their FAFSA is amazing because their parental income is so low. Yeah, United States college jokes. What I found really interesting as well is the people who they don't flunk out of the school, but this is where like commissars come from. This is where Tempestus Scions come from. This is where Inquisitors come from. Is this same school? It's just certain students tend to go missing. And those ones that go missing from the school are the ones that go on and become assassins.
Oh,
yeah.
that's nifty.
So
Could you imagine
yeah.
like you're in the school and you come out and you're like, oh, I've become a Tempestus Scion, but all of my classmates became like assassins and commissars and all these other things, and you're like, crap,
I'm an ammo loader.
Yeah, exactly. An ammo loader for a Torox Prime. This sucks. What did I do? Oh man, I should have skipped over.
As one of your old classmates comes back and murders your entire unit because like somebody had like downloaded the wrong software. It's like a chaos.
Yeah, and then he looks at you. He's like, "Hey, I remember you from homeroom. Oh, I'm gonna let you go with this one.
Yeah.
Just this once."
But the scholars that
Jeff.
they go to, the scholars that they go to, they're essentially taught to survive in very harsh environments by limiting oxygen time and kind of driving them the whole time. They're also taught to be very obedient and love the Emperor as master and immortal father. That's
as they should.
This is like I believe like the futuristic Catholic school where lessons are around that. But yeah, like from that day, they're the assassins when they're chosen by the temples from the school. They're never seen again by their fellow classmates and stuff like that. So like
Until like Ted says they come to
wonder what happened to Phil.
slaughter all of their crew with them.
Oh my God, it's Dave!
Yes.
Hey Dave, how you been? I've been good, thanks.
You look good with a neck tie.
And then like this next part I read here was about the training on the ship on the way back. It really made me think of Ender's Game. Is that they survive on limited food and air. They must constantly fight each other in armed and unarmed combat and 0G and crushing weight. And all
this is
other
totally
kind of
Ender's
stuff.
Game.
I read it. I was like, oh, that's Ender's Game.
Yeah.
Like my literal note is Ender's Game 2.0, which isn't a bad thing because the first book is rad. We ignore the rest of them. But yeah, it's they're essentially put through like everything. So like ice world, lava world, high gravity, low gravity, no gravity, everything, and is really
everything's
testing
tomato
them.
sauce.
Yeah.
That's the worst one.
Oh my God, it gets in
Gives
your
them
nose.
all heartburn.
And that all starts happening once sorry, I got this wrong here. They get picked up from the school bus. And then they go in this assassin ship, and all that shit happens to them. So like, and
so
then,
not everybody gets.
So
that.
first they take the school bus to the school,
Yeah.
and then they take the assassin bus to the
temples.
To the temples.
and
So
then
it's not a black ship; it's a yellow ship.
yeah, it's yellow. And then the
Driven by Miss
temples,
Frizzle.
Yeah, it's a magic school bus.
the temples line up kind of like American Idol or Pop Idol if you're from the UK, and they judge the recruits, and they all pick different ones for their temple, kind of like schoolyard dodgeball, like you. The only thing I took away from this was that the Evisers, they like young boys.
Of course,
specifically says.
Ooh,
weird.
But that's mainly because they do several thousand surgeries on them. they're more likely to survive that way. And then it gets way more intense, the training. Like up until then, it's like kind of kindergarten, and then it goes like straight from kindergarten to high school.
Are they split up into the different temples by this point, or is it just like general? Okay.
Yep. So at this point, they're split into different temples. But then they start doing fighting.
Drugs.
It says they fight. they fight kind of fighting engines for days.
Oh, wow.
Days, and it's all endurance and everything based. So it's just like they go under aggressive hypnosis. So it's like, hey, the school says you love the emperor, but you really love the emperor. Look at my watch. Look into my eyes. Only my eyes. And then they get like brain implants. They get all kinds of. They get taught about the Imperium as a whole and different planets and worlds, so they can kind of do their missions and everything better. But very few even survive this part.
Oh.
And it's after that they go into their kind of temple-specific training.
Okay.
Phil, tell me about your temple.
About my temple?
Yeah, your personal body's a temple. Temple of
we
Phil.
just kind of sit around. We watch YouTube videos.
How much? Okay, I mean, no offense, because that's a pretty rad lifestyle, but how much would it suck if you spend 20 years intense training, almost on the brink of death every day, and you get to your temple, we're watching some YouTube videos. Grab a soda, pick some chips.
Yeah, pick up some Mountain Dew. You're good to go.
Yeah, dude, I love the Emperor too. Don't worry, we're just gonna watch this show.
No, we're totally gonna watch. We're gonna love the Emperor while
Frat
drinking.
house.
Yeah, while drinking, Mountain Dew and painting models and watching YouTube. Man, that's what we do.
That's a highfalutin.
Yeah.
I trained for this.
Yeah, you did. Welcome. And you're welcome for choosing you.
Pass the Faygo.
Yeah.
Oh, Juggalo reference.
Yeah. Is that a gummy worm in the bottom?
Yeah.
This is great.
So the Temple Vindicare, their saying is Exodus Acta Probat, which is the outcome.
That's how Harry Potter gets his Patronus, right?
Exactly.
Squeaky cheese.
The outcome justifies the deed. That just kind of goes to show what they do.
I tried saying that to an ex-girlfriend once, and I still didn't get forgiven.
No, it totally justifies it. So they're basically just the best snipers in all of the Imperium. They're trained to be able to target. They said they can target like specific veins and arteries from like a mile away through the ruins of a hive city. Like it's like insane the abilities that they have.
Okay.
And that's essentially everything that comes down to is just shooting things.
Okay.
Like their whole job is to secretly get to a place, wait there until they can get their shot, take their shot, and then just GTFO. Like that's their entire existence.
Yeah.
And they're sent out on missions like way in advance to when they can get that. Like there was a story about this one Vindicare assassin who was sent on a mission to go take out a Dark Eldar pilot, and he knew that if he went to Cormora, that he would never get out alive, and it just wasn't going to work.
He wouldn't even get in alive.
Yeah, he wouldn't even get in alive. Exactly. So it just wasn't going to happen. So he researched where there had been sightings of this guy, and he went and went to one of these places, and he waited at the top of this one statue, in the eyeball of this one statue, and he survived off of moss and the raw flesh of birds that nested in this statue for 6 years.
You think
never
after
taken his eyes off of the sky? Like for 6 years, he stayed there.
I mean, you
just
think after
subsisting
2
off of
years the birds would stop landing there?
Yeah, I know. You'd think they learned, but no. Apparently, birds are stupid.
I want to see how he did that. Like, did he put like twigs around his mouth?
So they laid the egg into it. Like, nom, nom, nom.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So he for 6 years, and he said that after 6 years, the pilot, the ship, came back into the existence there. Like it had come back and came out of the warp, and less than a half a second later, he had fired the shot.
They're not in the warp; they're in the wet wave.
All right, they're
and
in the
he
wet wave.
translated back into real space.
Whatever it was, I'm not a
Thanks,
a
John, for
pointy-eared
representing
nerd.
the internet.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Just call you the internet from now on.
I'll still like your comment. But less than half a second later, after he arrives back in there, he fires through the cockpit, killing him, and then he just
Wouldn't it suck if he waited all that time and they missed?
No, like, exactly.
Oh my god,
he's shot.
I was going to say,
second shot is for myself.
He's like been holding this sneeze for 6 years, and it finally decides to go, and then it's like, choose. Oh no!
when you're playing 40k and you take your 70-point Vindicator Assassin just as a throwaway, because you got the points to spare.
Yeah.
You put him on the table. You give him a good vantage point.
Mm-hmm.
You set out your high quality target.
Yeah.
And you roll that one to hit. Just remember, in the fluff of the game, you've ruined 6 years of his life.
Yeah.
Your model storms off the table.
So you will use your goddamn command point reroll.
Yeah.
To make sure that his life is not wasted.
And
one
then
is unacceptable.
You will roll another one if you are me, which I definitely did during a tournament.
Congrats.
2 to wound. Roll a 1.
Achoo.
Yeah. Command point. Double at you. Yeah.
They always come in threes.
Then he farted. But yeah, so that's their whole existence. Is they have these all of their equipment is gene coded to themselves, to the specific assassins. They have these special synth suit skins that aren't just synth suit. They're also a synth skin. They're also they do like a whole bunch of other stuff that helps them blend in and survive in extreme conditions, because they're just fucking sitting there for 6 years. You know, they need these special suits. They have their spy masks that have direct imports into their brains that take all of this information that they gather and like downloads it directly into their brains. That they said like even a veteran space marine would have a hard time dealing with all of this information, but they're like specially trained to be able to handle the input of all that information. And their mask also can train like highly concentrated food and water, so they can survive off of, because they're like they basically go into like a hibernative state in between, like when they're waiting to get the shot. Like their body just doesn't like consume anything.
Like a bear.
Exactly.
Except for moss and dead birds.
It's like a bear except for moss and dead birds. And this bear can also still see in the sky and react like a split second later.
I kind of want to see a bear Vindicator Assassin now.
Yes.
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 In the style of Yogi Bear.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, boo boo.
Hey,
We got a target 2 clicks north.
Yeah. And they they also talk about how all of their guns are like they're a mystery to like the mechanicas that like build them for them, like the tech priests, like they build them and they're using like they're using technology that they don't really quite understand, but because they develop like handcrafted bullets that are able to, you know, ignore like the power generated like basically invul saves when they have going through. It's like all these different things, and it's like very, very cool, like all this like highly technical stuff. And the whole point of these guys is to go in and take out just one person. Like that's their whole job, is to go in and take out one person that can like change the course of how everything goes. And they said a lot of their targets are suspected demon hosts and suspected people that have been fallen under the sway of the dark gods and the you know, the ruinous powers. And oftentimes they'll wait until these very charismatic figures are speaking out to their people that they're trying to spread this like heresy. And as they're speaking to their people, it's like, boop, they just like blow their head out. And they said it has a big impact on their followers, that it really takes the wind out of their ruinous sails. And they often just like,
heresy. I love the Emperor.
Yeah, we're probably going to go. And it talks about how even if they're not there, a lot of these leaders of these like cults and these like these charismatic leaders of these you know, anti-emperor kind of forces, they live in fear, and they don't quite do everything just out of fear, thinking that there might be a Vindicator 2 miles away with them in their
Which
I
think is kind
sights.
of the point of the assassins in general, is they're there as kind of a big brother kind of controlling these powerful people.
Exactly. But they and that's like mostly what they do is that. But then every once in a while they talked about this one Vindicator assassin who held off an entire Eldar invasion force, because they had come down to this planet, and this one Vindicator was up in this one tower with a view of like this whole area. And every time they tried to make an assault, he would just take out every single one of their leaders and every one of like the support weapons gun crews. And they would just like completely halt their the forward momentum, and they would have to like pull back. And just did it every time, every wave that they would come up, just like boop boop boop. And they finally called in like the Eldar Rangers to come in and like, you know, to go take them out, like clear this tower. And as they got to the tower, they just got blown up by all of these grenades that he had set as traps outside of the tower and stuff. And it was just like That's brutal.
I can just see like the autarch just being like, I don't understand why the same 7 people keep dying when we put them in the same position every time.
Every time. We even changed that guy's hat. He still got shot.
He turned it around backwards.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the Vindicator. Like, honestly, their whole existence is to get somewhere without being seen, wait there for however long they need to wait there, and then take that one shot, and then GTFO. And that's like their whole existence. That's what they're designed to do, and that's what they train to do. Is a lot of their training is in stealth and marksmanship, but also in endurance, so that they can just survive weeks, months, years at a time in their position, waiting for the shot to take.
Patience and stoicism was something I heard about.
Yeah,
I thought it was kind of like one of the anecdotes about the training in patience and stoicism was that they eliminate every unessential word from the vocabulary, so it is only as few words as possible to relay a message, and that's it.
So it's basically like modern day teens with their texting.
As few letters as possible.
Yeah,
it is Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. LOLK.
It's like GTG, picture of a target.
Emojis and nothing else.
LOLK.
Super soaker. Super soaker skull face.
Got it. Kill a Necron.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
And I think they're also saying that like to die by sniper was an inglorious death. So that was kind of neat too.
Yeah.
Vengeance and revenge killing.
Yep. So that's the Vindicator. Temple of Vindicator.
Ted, you want to go next?
Oh man, not after that. I got like a paragraph to his like book.
Yeah, stretch it out. Don't be stoic.
Okay, so the Calidus Temple. So they're the impersonators and the chameleons. Chameleons. It's a lizard, right? The chameleon.
Chameleonaire.
So what are
they try to catch them rolling dirty.
Yeah. So they are the cunning. Snoop Dogg.
Rolling, they hating.
Was it?
We just got that's the song by Chameleonaire. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
That's all the words I know for it. So.
Is that a real band? Or
No, it's a rapper.
Yeah,
they call it Chameleonaire.
Yeah,
Chameleonaire.
I gotta check that out. That
so the Chameleonaire Temple.
Because I think I started listening to DMX simply because he said like Transformer rollout like Optimus Prime. So like a name like that. That's all I needed. Yeah, like multiple albums deep. Like where's the other Transformers references?
Dear DMX, I have bought every one of your albums since you made a Transformers reference, and I'm disgusted to find no further references to Transformers.
What are your thoughts on the Dinobots?
I feel Rodimus Prime, while unpopular, is deserving of a sick jam in your verses.
All right, Rough Riders, let's get together and do Rodimus.
Fuck Rodimus Prime. Good God. Yeah, shapeshifter.
All right, so we got a GoBot track.
Yeah.
So, speaking of shapeshifters, use of shape-changing drugs called polymorphine helps them resemble humans and some xenos. Though sometimes additional surgeries may be required. I think there was like one instance where I think like the Calidus assassin had to infiltrate a gene stealer cult. And she's a cult.
Yeah.
But I think they ended up having to like sew arms onto her.
Oh snap! I like to imagine that like a little kid who like dresses as a spider for Halloween,
where they're attached by string.
They're just tied to their other arms. They're like, oh hey, how are you guys doing over there?
Like, you don't look familiar. Boo, I'm a scary gene stealer.
How many arms do I have?
All right, it checks.
Well, more than 2, so you're probably one of us.
It's like, Phil, I really don't trust her. I don't think she's like, well, she has 4 arms.
You
like,
see
I
all of
fucking
her
know
arms.
she has 4 arms, but come on.
I mean, who do we worship? The 4-arm gun. So I mean,
so no, I didn't say 6 arms.
Yeah, I didn't say 6 arms. Didn't say 2
As
arms.
she's holding 2 arms behind her back. Like, thank God I took those ones off.
Yeah, so I mean, she's probably
Throw it in
good.
the trash can as she
she's
walks
got
by.
all the arms. She's got all the arms we need. We're good. You're in.
All right, high fives, hugs.
High fives.
God, those are weak.
All the 5s, yeah.
2 of them were good.
Ooh, those need to work out. Do you even lift, bro?
Not swole.
Hashtag not swole.
So, so occasionally they do that. Polymorphine, it usually works on female I don't know why. They just said it works on females.
Because of the lack of testicles.
Oh, okay. That's it. That's exactly it.
I read that on Lexiconum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But I love it. Like these little chicks could end up resembling orcs. Like, that's all
and
it
have.
is.
They've resembled grots and orcs and all kinds of stuff.
That's awesome.
They were in they had them in the Beast Arises. They were the ones that infiltrated the
Skitari, yeah.
Oh well, no!
Them
I was
too.
thinking the one. Yeah, I was thinking the ones that had infiltrated.
the
High Lords.
Yeah.
Groups. And it was like, he's like, you can either do what I say now, or these people will now be you. And they were just like, and they're like, oh damn, yeah.
So they were also the temple that I think it was a Calidus that assassinated Conrad Kurz.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but he
Suck it, Kurz.
man, he's such a whiny emo bitch. And we're never going to talk about him much. Like he was like, well, now that you're killing me, you're proving me right that the Emperor's a dick. I'm like, well, he's killing you because you're a dick.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say something. Oh, yeah, fuck Conrad.
It's kind of
I'm
like
going to let you kill me to prove the point that the person who sent you to kill me was a dick. I'm like, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But you could also be alive and know that.
Yeah, I'll take that one.
It's like that childish command thing, you know, or like, sit down. I'm already sitting. Well, sit down. I told you to do that. You know. No shit.
I mean, you got to imagine that the
Sit
assassin
down.
at the time was like, I'm going to kill you now. I was like, all right. Oh, fuck, it takes all the fun out of it.
Yeah, it's like,
Okay.
if you kill me, you're going to prove me right. It's like, all right, that sounds like a good deal.
Still dead.
Yeah, deal. Step.
But yeah, I think the thing that I think that caught me on this was, you know, when I usually think of like the Calidus assassin, I think of like the Satan phase sword, the neural shredder, polymorphine. But I think like the weapon of choice was actually the digital weapons, because they were saying like they need to be able to sneak it into wherever they're going. Usually like a weapon is bulky, but the digital lasers, you know, it's like a series of rings.
Yeah.
And they're usually pretty potent up close. And considering you're like usually taking out like governors and regular folk, you know,
And
it's
you
pretty
look
easy
like their son.
Yeah.
What I thought was like amazing about Calidus is like Phil was talking about how Vindicars are used for very public executions as a now you fucking know, knock it off.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's happening to you. The Calidus is used when it's like more dangerous if people realize that the person has fallen to abs. It was like a beloved planetary governor who falls to chaos. Like he could easily rally systems around his side. But if you send in Calidus as, I don't know, his servant boy, and then in the middle of the night he just digital lasers his face off, or poisons his food, or whatever it is there, then he just dies. The Imperium are like, oh, he was a respected, loved man. Let's continue the way he would want things. The Imperial truth.
With this guy.
And keep going with this gentleman here. Yeah, so I think it's great that like they're used to kind of diffuse really like weird, like kind of difficult political situations.
And even though they are, you know, like most of the assassins, you know, can kill you with their thighs, you know, like there is like that subtlety to them that's a little bit more.
I really need to go watch GoldenEye again now.
There's definitely, you can see that with the different temples. Like certain temples are way more subtle than other temples, where it's like, you know, Vindicare is about as subtle as a bullet through the head. You know,
and we'll be getting on to John's here in a little bit, talking about subtlety. But I guess the last thing was the one of the interesting weapons that they are not really weapons, but like the war gear that they would sometimes use in the case that they wanted to kind of like push the envelope was the death cards, which was just like they took, you know, the last moments of somebody's life as they were agonizing and dying, and like basically created a hologram of it and put it on a card, and they usually put it in their mouth or in their hand or whatever, and like people would come up and like, oh my god, Jeff died, and they pick up the card and it's like Jeff getting his head crushed by thighs.
Oh man, Hallmark is metal as shit in the
Seriously.
40th millennium. Holy cow.
Yeah,
that would be hilarious if they were
say
like,
with Hallmark,
with Hallmark. It was like it was branded with Hallmark on the back.
So
that's what happens. Like as
little...
the world starts to go to the grim dark, they're like, well, people aren't buying like get well cards anymore because everyone's just dying. So why don't we do death cards?
Yeah.
That sounds good. That seems like a good growing market.
Get dead soon.
Yeah, get dead soon.
I would love it if it was just this like really crappy Star Wars like original trilogy style like hologram like Princess Leia of like the person being murdered, and then it kind of goes and cuts out to just like a Hallmark logo. real subtle product.
Yeah.
God, that was really lifelike. I gotta get some of those.
You can get it with different filters on there, where it looks like this. It looks like it was like where it's like, oh, I guess maybe this death card was taken with with expired film from the 1970s.
Oh, this is Sienna X Pro.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, nice like tilt shift there.
Tilt shift death mode.
All right, John, Eversor us.
Eversor Assassin. I'm going to start with a quote from an Eversor called Dictatus.
I'll have the fries.
Fear me, for I am your apocalypse. This really speaks to kind of the tactics of the Eversor Temple.
The most subtle of the temples, right, John?
The most subtle temple there is. Programmed to be a Soviet assassin for Department X under the codename the Winter Soldier. Oh wait, no, that's literally the Winter Soldier. That's my bad. Yeah, they're insane. Eversors, they're products, they're tools. They're kind of like, I would say what Eversor assassins are to assassins what Space Marines are to people, where generally they look the same, but there's so much modification that goes into them. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
They're drug-crazed killing machines. They're bioengineered. They have experimental surgeries all over the place. The state of mind is stimulated to be like more disliked to the enemy, so they can literally push a button and be like, "You hit orcs more now," and it kind of goes up and over. And then they're kind of
easy to program. Get yours now.
And they're manipulated to hate more, so they're kind of like Anakin in Episode 3. They're mainly used for getting rid, like if a planetary governor manages to rally all the PDF and the Imperial Guard to his chaos side, like let's go. But they're like, oh shit, there's a lot of wheat fields on this planet. No, we don't want to exterminate it. They'll send an Eversor in to murder every single one of the high command, very publicly, and then they find generally 9 times out of 10 when you see all of your military and political leaders get brutally murdered by a skull-faced death machine, that everyone else falls in line pretty quickly.
9 times out of 10.
9 times out of 10, it works every time.
And in fear of the Eversor, they've decided to create the Reavers. Like, hey, skull faces. This worked.
Wait, so this worked for like regular assassins. What if we made them also 9 feet tall?
Take it off. You're scaring me. Come on. Not in the barracks. Something about that last time we saw that.
Like, Steve, put that away.
So they are kept stored in secret ships that are flying the Imperium in permanent stasis.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier-esque. And then when they're ready to go, they are kind of put in a pod, sent down to the planet. En route to the planet, they start downloading the missions into their brain. And then as soon as the pod lands, they wake up.
Okay.
It could have been a week since they last woke up. It could be 1,000 years since they last woke up. They're just there, and they know who they need to kill, and they know they need to murder them right away.
Which is an interesting existence, because if you think about it, it's like you wake up, you kill, you go back to sleep, you wake up, there's moments in between killing. So like your entire life is just killing. There's not time to like take a shit or get onion rings or
No.
They did a cool job of showing that in the Beast Arises series. When they would have like all the assassins that were coming to meet with Van Gorich up on Mars. Like they would come, and then they would also wheel up the Eversor assassin in the stasis pod, just sitting there.
Shit, is the pod okay?
Yeah, he's still here. It's all good. And then, like at the end, when they were finally releasing him, like the one woman was like, the one assassin was like, I think I can cut through. I think I can do it. And she like just barely like breaches the pod, and he's like, oh, I'm awake. Time to kill. Sounds good. And he just like goes rampant. I
mean, they have so many implants and so many stimulant drugs they're on. They have to have 2 hearts. And able to maintain a good enough heart rate to stay alive when they're in kind of their combat frenzy. It's insane. And
they're just designed to go out there and just like slaughter. And there's like no holding it back. Like I said, they're like, where the Calidus are like the very subtle, like
opposite.
They slip in, they take out what they need, and they slip out, and no one even knows like necessarily that they've been there unless they leave a Hallmark card. Yeah. Whereas like the Eversor is like, there's no doubting that an Eversor has been there because of the trail of entrails that is just scattered around the room.
What's insane about it is these people don't even know they're under attack until it's too late.
Yeah.
So you have this murderous killing machine going, but it's happened so quickly that the only time they know they're under attack by an Eversor is when they see kind of the grim skull face right in front of them there. They're recruited super young. And only because you really can't do it after the body develops, because they have all of these implants and drugs and stimulant injectors to go into. And like I think there's been a couple of examples, like Beast Cruel would be one from the Beast Arises. He got force changed into an Eversor.
Yeah. Oh my god, that must suck.
Yeah, especially everything's developed.
It sounds like he was already kind of like geared that way anyway, with like his endoskeleton or whatever it was called.
It sounded like there was very little that was like not like enhanced at that point. Yeah, but still, like all the extra.
After that, it was just like a cocktail of like PCP and meth, and he was good.
Yeah. He was like, and
so they get bioimplants, they get chemical boosters, they get muscular hypertrophy, they get an endoskeletal restructuring.
Okay, that's odd.
Yeah. They get like an extra heart, like I said, to maintain the high heart rate they need because they're so murderous to go. If they
we need
survive,
a V8 in there. No, fuck it. We need a V12. The Cummins.
If they survive all that, they get a bunch of chips put in their brain to make them turn like a little dislike to utter like hatred. Of everything, kind of turn everything up to just, and like I said, they're literally weapons. They have
so basically they turn their brain into an internet forum.
Yeah,
so it just turns a slight dislike into like murderous hatred.
Wow, I was thinking like borderline personality disorder, but the internet is more apt for
internet,
sure.
Yeah,
so
which is a lot like borderline personality disorder.
A regular assassin is like a conversation with someone in real life. An adversary assassin is a YouTube comment section.
All caps, all the time.
All caps, all hatred.
I like that someone put down that that they have like these adrenal ducts implanted in them so that they can speed up the brain so they can make decisions faster. And I'm like, they literally just murder people. What decisions are they making that requires more thought of pistol or claw?
Yeah.
Pistol. I really wish I had adrenal glands so I could make this quicker.
I think that's kind of interesting because like it kind of like, as we think of like somebody who's just like a killing machine, we often just think of like killing indiscriminately, but like I think like what's more important is that this guy, even though he's killing like a motherfucker, he's actually processing things to like take out linchpins in the system. Like, all right, this guy over here is about to pull this trigger. I have to take out him before he does this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I take out this guy, then he won't be able to service the toilet.
Yeah.
And then the blue juice will fall on their feet and they'll get disgusted. Then I can kill them while they're disgusted.
Yeah, it's like everyone in this room is going to be dead, but the order in which I do it is
very important.
It's very important, and that's what they even talked about that. In, again, going back to the Beast Arises, that was like very vivid, very vivid like description of like these assassins at work. They had the fact that he has like this survey thing on his shoulder that's looking around the room, like analyzing all of like the threat situations, and it's pumping into his brain. And then he's making the decisions on it's like, all right, well, this guy needs to go first because he's a bigger threat than this guy. And then I can go around this guy. And if I go kill this guy while going over to this guy to kill him, I can then move over to this guy and kill him. And it's like, they're
in
processing in a millisecond. He processes. He's like, all right, and go.
That's probably like the difference to like between him and like World Leader.
Yeah,
like exactly. A World Leader's just like kill.
World Leader just like runs into a room and he's like kill whatever, and then everyone's shooting at him, and then eventually maybe he dies, maybe he kills you all. We don't know. We'll see what happens. But the adversary is like, no, you're all dead. You didn't have a chance to shoot me.
I think one of like the best things. So they're so pumped full of drug A that they need to take drug B to stop it. But then they take drug C, which reacts to drug B, so they need to take drug D to stop drug C. So they're on so many different, they're on so many different supplements that when they're alive, then they have machines and stuff that can regulate that all this stuff. But as soon as like if their heart stops for any reason and all of like this regulation goes away, they literally explode.
Yeah,
there is so much
like pH balance is 1.
Yeah, they explode. But that's like to the assassin, like that's okay. It's I killed you because I was super close and I exploded.
Exploded
over your face.
Exploded.
Yes. So that is adversary assassins.
They usually run with the Ordo Hereticus. I thought that was kind of
Yeah.
And something else that I really loved, and this is more a regional thing. Their temple used to be in a region called the Arctic.
Oh yeah, so the Arctic region,
which was actually the northern Arctic region.
Nice.
Potentially Alaska or the Hudson Bay.
Yeah, I'm guessing that is probably
it's probably going to be Alaska.
Greenland.
But I like it because I just have these images of essentially the ice base from Hoth and, 5, and then just like rows of just adversaries just like frozen in stasis waiting to be woken up.
Oh yeah,
that's so fucking rad.
Yeah,
so good. So that's 3 of the temples.
Yeah.
There is 3 more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ted, you have notes of the ones over there.
Yeah, so I think there's some more on assassins. So let's go do that, and like I want to get back a little bit more into just assassins in general. But so the Calexis, I think this one's another well-known one. So I'll go ahead and start.
One of the 4 that you can buy models for.
Yeah.
Oh,
the other ones
my
are kind
God.
of boring.
Yeah.
I feel really stupid now because I realized that I said that it was an adversary called dictatus. That's just actually they're saying it's dictatus.
Oh, yeah, it's their dictatus, yeah.
There's thank you, Internet. I now know there's not an adversary called dictatus.
Okay, you went into the past and told John.
Yeah.
Although I think it's now canon. That
Yeah,
you
it is
should,
kind of
yeah,
Dick
yeah.
Dick the adversary.
John's adversary assassin is now
called
named
Dick.
Dictatus.
Yeah.
So Calexis
Dictatus.
Temple was, I think it's I think like they're the pariahs. I think we went and we saw a little bit. Actually, they showed us all the temples in the Beast Horizon, didn't they?
Yeah.
But I think that was kind of like one of the more brutal. Was like that kill, where he kind of comes in and just like sucks out the Astropath's third eye or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
that was so crazy.
um,
So crazy. Yeah.
it's so good.
No, there's 2 eyes. The single other one.
It's dripping. But they're null entities. But one of the interesting things about this, I think, like with the regular temples, you kind of breed them to become the assassin. But I think with this one is like 1 in a billion is a null. Like 1 in a billion humans is a null. And even though they can kind of clone them, they really like the best ones are born nulls just like naturally. So they have to go and find the nulls, and then they have to like. Oops, your parents fell down the stairs onto a bunch of rusty knives.
Orphans.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
Hell, I can't believe it. Your parents just died. That's terrible. You should hate. Find your hate.
It's almost like I feel with the Calexis as well, because they are pariahs and essentially they radiate out get the fuck away from me, freak. So no one wants to be around a pariah. I feel if an Imperial black ship shows up, like, hey, can we take your boy? Like, yes, you can. Get him the hell out of here.
Creeps me out.
So they have the pariah gene, and it's let's see. Also, they also do the vat grown, but the vat grown are kind of like they're socially awkward and don't quite understand like human emotion. So they're a little bit less effective.
Sounds a little bit like my ex-wife.
Soul sucking assassin.
Chick, please.
So I think one of the last things, the animus speculum, which is not just used to open buttholes and vaginas.
I was going to say
on
speculum
on
is,
animals.
yeah. So the
This
analmus
hamster, we had to get in the hamster's ass to get my car keys back up.
So the analmus speculum.
So, but it's a relic, and this is probably also along the line of like the sniper rifle is like, you only have so many of these, except as a relic, they're not reproducing them, not understanding that the secret ingredient is blueberries.
Yeah.
It's just that, like
Every time. I don't know why they don't know now.
why are we putting blueberries on this?
Yeah.
I don't understand how it works.
Lithium-ion batteries that they just don't know anymore.
But also, like when they kill people, they cause, or just like walking around, just being. I don't know if it's necessarily because they're. It says the Ethereum. That's part of their war gear, or part of their persona, causes emotional distortion in people. So just people in general walking around them are kind of like, oh God, I don't like my dog. And then in that distortion, they're able to.
I feel like the Calexis Temple would be like a bunch of teens sitting around listening to a Cure album in the 80s.
Yeah.
And just,
Judging you,
yeah.
just like, ugh, God, look at this guy.
I mean, you've been around groups
Is
of
that
people.
burger even
like,
GMO free?
Like groups.
It's like, oh, I don't know. It's like, no, I sucked out your soul. Good job. It's like, damn it.
So you've been around groups of
like
like
a vegan.
sad people who like they feed off each other and make each other sadder, and it's just like I want to fucking leave so bad. Let's stay for this training course. Allegedly.
That's such a stay-at-home housewives. So, another temple, I think this was Van Gorch's, specialized in, this is the Venenum.
The Venenum.
Vanilla.
Aluminium.
Aluminium.
Venenum.
Vanilla.
So they specialize in poison. There's not a whole lot that I could find on them. I didn't see a bunch.
As they wished.
Other than like a list of people that have been part of their group.
So yeah, essentially, well, what was amazing is most of the time that they would use poison, and they were what they would usually do is poison someone and then leave, take a couple-week vacation, and then kind of head home, and then their target would die.
Yeah.
And like they were very rarely caught or killed because by the time the person died or anyone knew about it, they were long gone. They said that one of the chicks, what was her name? Echo Melensis.
Oh, okay. You're going to talk about a different one. Good.
She was able to time her target's death to the second.
Yes.
Yeah, that she arrived back at the temple for a debriefing. So you imagine it was
She's
like,
having lunch. Like,
Yeah.
they're dead.
like, Jesus, Echo, did you kill your target yet? Nope. Yes.
That's crazy cool.
And then a death card shows up in the mail a week later.
Hallmark.
So I think we had one that tried to assassinate Horus. This is outside of the execution force.
Oh, really? Outside of those
Yeah,
guys?
so we had the execution force that went in there and failed.
I was going to say, that's just spoilers. They didn't assassinate him.
So, but then there's like a Tebeld. I think this guy ended up getting into a fight with a bunch of the assassins on how best to kill him, and then went in and tried to take him out himself, and I think he ended up getting caught and killed.
Yeah, I was going to say, it probably didn't work out real well.
But one of my favorite, you probably read this too, I'm guessing, is Urhoya Thoreau. The Canadian Prime Minister.
What a great day for the Imperium. And
Or
therefore
his
the galaxy.
sister, I guess. So she assassinated 1,000-member committee of an anti-Imperium, poisoning their chairs. So 1,000 chairs with poison on them. Killed the entire committee.
I'm gonna go into this. I had this saved all for later where we go through the awesome assassinations, but let me go through this one real quick while I find it.
No, please have my seat. She's he's like, oh,
should have seen that.
Chivalry just saved you.
Are you going to get into the notable assassinations?
No, I will in a second here. I really wanted to touch on quickly the Vannis Temple, which is the last one we want to talk about.
Oh, there's one more after that, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
That's right. It's the last one I want to talk about.
And then the episode's over with.
Yeah.
The Vannis Temple was predominantly in the assassination of making people kill themselves.
These guys are weird as fuck.
I love
They are
them.
the most different, I think, of all of them.
Was this, I guess, in the
It was not the Beast of Rises.
No.
Are you sure? Wait, about the one?
It might have been, but okay. So
no, because remember the
one
who was it?
yeah.
Tull. Tull. Remember when she's like,
They made him
this
kill
gun,
himself?
Yeah, because she was like, oh, my gun's charged. I wonder why it's charged after all these years. And it's like, yeah, you should kill yourself because
they
No, I
posted
think-
those suggestions.
yeah, because the whole thing was her aide convinced her that the best thing that she could do was to
I
kill
always thought
herself.
that was a Calidus assassin that did that.
No.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it was, but it was someone.
But the
Because this one, they say that they usually don't even see their target. And what they do is anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
So their dictatus is the cleanest kill is one that another performs in your stead with no knowledge of your incitement. And the example they give here,
You could be right, though.
was Sire Augustus Giles. He had someone called a consort commander called Evandula, who she buried her husband alive whilst he was sleeping in his bed because Vanham Temple made sure that she found out that the guy was fucking someone else from another knightly house. She buried her husband alive for that kind of indiscretion, and then the other knights kind of killed everyone else around them, and she just kind of sat there like fingering her nails, like, oh yeah, you all killed each other. These guys aren't really represented on the tabletop.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
I feel a Vannis assassin is represented through command points now.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that everyone that I face as a Vannis assassin.
They are the Vannis assassin.
Which is why I blow myself up with my plasma all the time.
But there is like a secret seventh.
Well, first off, like Vannis, just to wrap it up, I think like some of the things that are kind of interesting about them is like they're technophiles, or they're infophiles.
I think that's still illegal in the 41st millennium.
I guess it depends on the polish that they use on the toaster. But they often have like mechadendrites, although they have a lot of similarities with the Mechanicum. I mean, they're all about raw data. They're all about collecting these things. They're also the propagandists, so they'll kind of send out misinformation. They're also, I think, like one of the more powerful of the temples because they collect so much blackmail on a lot of the other temples and a lot of the other agencies. So they kind of like secures their position. A lot of them don't ever leave their desk. Like they're just they stay back at the office and they kind of do things. But when they do, they have a lot of their enhancements are really subtle. So unlike Mechanicum, who kind of give themselves full bore into like the machine worship, they might have the mechadendrites. They might have like all these weird gauntlets and nano flies or net flies, but they're kind of hidden. They're a little bit more discreet. But the net flies I thought they were kind of cool. They're like these little nano biobot things. They're like really simple machines, and they call it a net fly swarm. And so they send these things out, and they just like latch onto different data streams and stuff like that, and they're able to kind of like map out just like the battlefield and like all this stuff, just because just the way data flows, not just necessarily the
Batman,
information.
Remember that with all the cell phones, where they had where he put in the code into the cell phones, and because of that he could see the whole city based with all their cell phones.
Probably.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
That's
You guys watch Futurama, right?
Yeah.
I'm sponging some data right now.
Data.
Sponging
the data.
So that's where I'm kind of like dubious about, like, they almost sound like that assassin, but then they're just like, there's a slight, but they could be. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
that's the point.
Yeah.
You never know.
Who knows?
So not to complete all the, I mean, this is the last of the temples, but there's more. So apparently the 12th temple was founded fairly recently. I think you said you read into this, right?
No, not really. But what you really need to do is we talked about the 6. So
Yeah.
we're not going to talk about beep, beep,
Okay.
beep, beep, beep.
So the 7th temple was the Smith temple. It was a bunch of Mormons. They got to, and the 8th temple
they had a new they found a new book of the Imperial Truth where the Emperor was born on Mars.
Yeah.
the golden tablets.
Yeah. They're actually very much like every other temple, except it allows them to have a whole bunch of wives.
And then there's the 8th temple, which was Trey Parker, Matt Stone, who made musicals about the 7th
About
one,
everything,
and was assassinated by the 9th temple. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, the 12th temple
The actual one
is the Meroris temple. What was kind of interesting about this, it was developed in M40, and it was
M40?
M40, so
Okay.
the 40th
It's a
millennium.
motorway in England.
So it's the manufactorum bus drivers by the heretics of the Mechanicus. I don't know a whole lot about them other than I think they're dark Mechanica-ish.
Oh, okay.
Sort of. I think maybe it might have been on the
sense to me.
verge.
Hey, man, there's
I don't
not
know.
just your Imperials that can make their own assassin temples now. That's the 41st millennium.
So,
Literally everybody has their own.
but it was
assassin
it was in league with the regular assassins. So the officio, the office of ass. So they created this thing. It was developed with illegal xenos, mutant, and human hybrids. Presumably the xenos was Tyranid, so it would absorb biomass from their targets and would develop it quickly into bioweapons. So you would be able to just be like a regular person, walk into a building, beat the shit out of their opponents, take in their biomass, and all of a sudden you have a pyrovore.
Well, a better Tyranid, I would assume. An exocrine.
Exocrine, sorry.
That sounds rad as shit. Just like, come give me a hug. I don't want to hug you. Mind bullets.
Thank you for your spine, jackass.
I like to imagine it's like from the Men in Black. Wasn't the one with where what's his face?
Egger?
Yeah, exactly.
Egger?
I was thinking the one where he where the cockroach one went in and sucked out and became in his skin. He was like,
Oh, yeah.
Water and sugar. Sugar water. Sugar water.
I can never unremember that.
I know.
I was wearing an Egger suit.
That's exactly that's what I imagine that these guys are.
So, because the Eversur wasn't deadly enough and didn't kill enough shit all at once, this is kind of their design. The idea was that it would go in, kill its target, and every living thing. So basically, it just blow up and destroy all things. Because they found that it's easy to go in and kill your mark, but then as soon as everybody kind of figures out that the mark is dead, you then have to go and kill everybody else that's a witness. So they just figured, why don't you just kill everybody with this bioweapon?
We could kill everybody.
So that was fine and all. And this was so secret that the Inquisition, this creation of the Mariorus Temple, was so secret that even the Inquisition and the Ordo Sicarius didn't know about it. But eventually, a few weeks later, or a few decades later, the one and only one that they had made. So they'd made one to kind of check this thing out. It went rogue and took over a planet.
That's a really big surprise when you make a superhuman and add Tyranid weapons and Midas touch and bullets.
Dude, it's cool, man. All you have to do is have faith in the Emperor. just give her a pamphlet. It'll tell her the right way.
You mean the guy who made him into a monster?
So it goes crazy. And then after a while, all these assassins are holy shit, our bad. we gotta go take care of this. And it's just wiping the floor with these guys. And eventually they get all these Vindicator assassins. There you go, your buddies.
Yeah, there you go.
They kind of they're kind of perched in there and they're waiting for it. And then they convince Lysander, hey, I got this chump that'll totally roll bait with this. So they get
Imperial fists.
Yeah. So they get Lysander, the Imperial Fist, to come in there, and so they goat the assassin out into public, out like a series of snipes or whatever. I didn't quite get into that detail. So then eventually Lysander gets in there and like pummels her face, and then in the end. They're like, yeah, high fives, Lysander. Lysander's like, fuck you guys. I hate assassins, all of you. You suck cock. And Space Marines never really liked assassins anyway, but this was like an internal job. You guys should have taken care of this, and we had to come, and we lost a lot of our chapter.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. This happens every Wednesday.
Yeah.
We're not over
this
it.
Wednesday, it's your fault.
Yeah, we were supposed to lose the entire chapter next Wednesday, not this Wednesday, you jerks.
So that's the last of the temples.
Well, I'm moving on to that real quick. It does. I did forget I read about how Space Marines view assassins.
Oh, yeah.
Awfully. They hate
them.
They
Right.
hate them with a passion because it goes against their kind of warrior tradition and code of conduct. Of hiding like a bitch isn't very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've never seen eye to eye. The vast majority, I'm sure you know, there's a couple
Yeah.
homebrew chapters that love them and have
Dark
hated
Angels.
them. Yeah, Dark Angels. They love them there.
The Dark Angels love them.
Like, ooh, secret
Especially in
Santa.
tournaments.
But they don't outwardly be like, hey, you guys are dicks, I don't want them anymore, because that way you really don't want to piss off several temples full of traitor killers.
They're helpful dicks and also scary dicks.
Because I think like the Space Marines are afraid of them for the most part.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And they, I think there's like a lot of attribution that they've given him, right? Like,
There's suggestions that before the Firehawk chapter translated and disappeared and didn't turn into Legion of the Damned. There was assassins there. There was
Crimson Fist.
What's this? A strangely empty set of early model Prower armor was discovered near the site of an ambush. Where the Angels of Retributions were murdered down to a man.
Wow.
So kind of like a, hey, why is Gary taking his suit off? Hey, why is Gary a chick? Hey, why is Gary killing us?
Digital weapons.
It's widely agreed that the Adeptus Astartes present on Armageddon, snipers picked off the Celestial Lions as they were going. They picked off the apothecaries, actually, more than anything else, so they couldn't recover any of the genes.
I think we went into that on our Armageddon episode.
I remember that, yeah.
So yeah,
and then you had the
Rin's World.
Yeah. Okay.
The Crimson Fists completely blame the Officio Assassinorum because somebody shot a faulty missile launcher that ignited and then blew up the majority of the Crimson Fist chapter.
But whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
And their entire monastery.
But yeah, so while,
Oops.
As happens.
while the Adeptus Astartes, they're like, "Oh, you dicks, you keep killing us." We're like, "What was that, bitch?" Nothing. Nope.
What did
Thank
you say?
you for the help.
Yeah, what did you say?
Your
What was
hair
that?
looks ravaging.
Yeah,
That's what I
it's
thought.
amazing because, like I said, it's checks and balances in the Imperium. Everyone keeps everyone else in line.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna we're good. You good?
That's good.
Yeah,
I
we're
think
gonna
like
do
a
some-
little bit more. I thought it was kind of neat that they have their own their own support staff. So they have like all their all their astropaths. They have like all their cleaning duty.
It's
and
like,
stuff
boy,
like that.
come clean my killer skull.
Yeah. But I think we can't really let it go without talking about other assassins.
That's true.
So
So
we
I
have
was
the-
going to say I do have some battles that we can
Oh,
go
okay,
into
okay.
there. Let's take a quick break,
Okay.
and then I'm going to go in through some battles, and
Yeah.
maybe we'll intersect. Some
Okay,
fun, yeah.
excellent.
Earl Hagen was a legend. In 1960, he whistled his way into Hollywood and into our hearts. Decades later, he made a comeback, lending those lustrous lips in the 1980s to such bands as the Scorpions, Guns N' Roses, and Pat Benatar. A half-century after his humble beginnings, he's at it again. This time without cumbersome musical accompaniment, he'll have you wetting your whistle and whistling along. His new album, Earl Whistles Disney, is sure to be a hit with all generations. Order now and receive a bonus album, Earl Whistles More Shit, a collection of previously unreleased material of Earl's favorite songs through the years. On this bonus album, he demonstrates his newly mastered technique of inward whistling. Order yours today on compact disc or double-length cassette. Also available at fine retailers such as Walgreens, CVS, and participating Sam Goody stores. Earl Whistles Disney. Buy it today.
Got hat after at the end there. She's got trying to get rid of her stock.
Yeah.
And
we
we're
have
back.
a limit on Samoas. You can have 2 boxes of Samoas.
You can have all of these ones that you want.
Bastards. Well, now that I peed and I'm good to go, we're back
Well done.
to talk about. I know, thank you. I'm
You
very,
got any on
very
your leg
excited.
or anything?
No, I
Good?
didn't.
All right, that's good.
No, it's a good day.
He kept it all on his feet.
Yeah. I kind of want to talk about some of the notable battles. Like something I've been doing since 8th edition released is like gone back and read through the fluff of like my old books, like as I'm sadly like packing
Certainly,
them
I've
away.
been reading through the rules.
Hey! I don't need to read the rules when I just play 3 games with you, and YouTube will teach me every single rule.
Teach me, YouTube comments. Teach me.
So like they have a list of kind of, I guess in other codexes it's like notable battles, but this is notable assassinations.
Noticeable dude bros that they have killed.
So we talked about the beheading for at least 12 hours in counting with our Beast Rises coverage. We also
So let's
touched,
go back to that real quick.
So we also we're gonna sit and wait while you go back and listen to the episode. So,
Well, now that you listen to all of them, that's great.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, good job. Thank you for pausing. We already talked about the assassination force going to kill Horus, and it didn't work. And also the assassin who did manage to kill Kurz, but at the same time proved Kurz's point, so it ultimately lost.
That whole logic.
I
is
think
just lost
literally
on me.
just Kurz thought that he won.
Yeah. It was such an emo little wanky
Yeah.
bitch. Good God. I mean, is Night Lord sprite? That's the little
Yeah.
wanky. Yeah, no. Fuck you guys. You have a shitty legion.
Yeah.
I think he hated himself and his own legion the entire time, didn't he?
He listened to-
He like hated everything.
Yeah.
Dude fucking sat listening to Insane Clown Posse drinking Faygo all day. No one understands me. My dad wants to kill me. Yeah. Anyway.
Actually, one thing I wanted to talk about was the execution force, the one that failed.
Yeah.
There was one Vindicator that went there. His name was Kel, and he met
Did
with
he
Keenan.
love orange soda?
he did.
He was a juggalo.
Yeah. He.
my hatchet bar of gold?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So when they went and they failed at first, he decided that that he was going to go and take him down. So then he hijacked a ship, and his plan was to drive the ship into the bridge of, because what they had set up this whole plan, and he set up to get this shot, and Horus didn't come. He sent like another guy in his place, so he killed the other guy thinking it was Horus, and then like the rest of them were just like, all right, well now we're gonna rip shit up and we're gonna destroy this entire planet. And he was like, well, crap, now I've still got to kill Horus, so I'm gonna go hijack the ship and drive it into the I'm just gonna drive it straight into the bridge of what's the name of this?
Vengeful Spirit.
Vengeful Spirit. Right into the bridge of it and kill him. And like the defense guns were too much, so he couldn't do that. And he's like, all right, well then I'm just going to take a drop pod onto their ship and then find a way to go kill him.
Oh, okay.
But the drop pod ended up like going to this one section that had these like chaos infused like fauna that ended up like poisoning him and driving him nuts. And he spent years waiting for the shot to kill Horus, and he was waiting for it, and like progressively, like the chaos like plants like took over and drove him nuts.
Awesome.
Yeah, and he thought he knew where Horus was going to be because of what these like plants told him.
That's
So
awesome.
he was waiting like years for it to come.
You make my heart sing.
Yeah. So then finally, when Horus came, he missed the shot, and then Horus looked at him and he said, he decided that he wasn't going to wait anymore. He was going to run after, just go take him out. So he ran after him, and Horus looked at him and said, you can, just shoot me. Go ahead, give it a shot, try it. And he shot, and Horus like grabbed the bullet out of midair, and then like took him and basically just ripped his like mental psyche to pieces and like turned him into like a chaos assassin.
Yeah,
who ended up going
half
down
man, half cabbage, all chaos.
exactly.
You
so
can
it was like
see
really
like
super kind of brutal, oh shit! Like
you see like Zinch rolling his like love dice, where it's like, okay, we're going to turn him evil using plants.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right, let's go.
All right, that's a tough one, but I think we
go
can
with
do
it.
this.
I got something. Something for
This
this.
is all without Nurgle.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
understand how you did it, but
So yeah, it was kind of cool.
rad.
Sorry, yeah.
Nice.
And then he went off to, like try to murder a bunch of people too, and then like eventually got killed himself.
Oh,
But,
okay.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So
It's rad.
I want to model him. It's
Yeah.
like some sage leaves.
Describe a Swamp Thing model and give it a sniper rifle.
Yeah. My cabbage fingers can't pull the trigger. I need a bigger trigger.
So this one's super rad, and we didn't really touch that much on Calexis because I always picked out their temples. But In the 32nd millennium, getting into the closing things again, this assassination was called a ghost amongst devils. Calixtus Assassin was sent to destroy a chaos sorcerer before he can kind of bring any more of his demonic legion from the warp to kind of come and kill Imperial stuff.
Yeah.
But because he's invisible to pretty much everything psychic, no one saw him on the ship when he casually walked up and killed him.
Oh, nice.
By touching him and turning his brain to ash.
Ooh, nice.
So yeah, I just imagine this kind of like Calixtus kind of like skulking around the ship, like and trying to but then like suddenly noticing that no one's seeing him, like waving his hand in front of demons' faces, like, well, fuck it, I'll just kill him.
Yeah, like jumping between doorways, hiding behind trash cans, and like nobody cares. Oh well, whatever.
This
I'll
next
eat
one,
this baguette. And I'll plug this guy in the head. Thank you.
He's like making people's pants fall down, stuff like that. Yeah.
Huh? That's weird.
Yeah,
Must have been a psychic wind.
My only note for this next one here is called the fuck.
Okay, good one.
So, a Calidus assassin was dispatched to kind of take the firstborn child of a planetary governor to kind of him fall in line.
Yeah, as one does.
As one does. His name was Thigamus van Spracht.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
It's a good name.
Made up.
So she disguised herself as no. Holy shit! I thought this was real. But she disguised herself as the matron for the infant. So like the person, obviously, who looks after him and takes care of him. But at the same time, she can't kind of just walk out of the palace holding this baby. That just looks weird.
Okay.
So she kind of polymorphined her mouth giant, swallowed the prince whole, repolymorphed into the woman, and then just walked out.
She's Jake the dog.
And then she vomited up the baby.
As one does?
That's totally Jake the dog.
Yeah, it is. Vomited up the baby, sent a picture to the governor just showing that they have his child. And he's like, yeah, we follow the imperial truth now. Please disregard everything I just said. But yeah, so yeah, she literally ate a baby and survived it and then puked it up again.
That's amazeballs.
Metal.
That is very metal.
Yeah, it was kind of awesome.
Yeah.
So now back to Evisers.
Okay.
The Cull of the Goliaths. And no, not your Necromunda Goliaths.
What?
But abhuman Goliaths of a place called Thug Rock Secundus.
Sounds very Goliath.
It was a recruitment moon for the Astra Militarum.
Okay.
A blood cult appeared, as it does.
As it does.
There. Nothing really super interesting. It was like a cult appears, we dispatch an assassin.
Yeah.
But everyone knows that the bureaucracy is really shitty in the 40th millennium, or this one here, the 35th millennium. They accidentally, due to miscommunication, sent 6 Eviser assassins to this one job site.
Wow.
Oh, you wanted 6 gallons of milk. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow.
Our bad.
Yeah.
How's your aunt? Is she okay?
So they were dispatched to slay the leaders of the indigenous population. By the time the one surviving Eviser is recovered, not a single Goliath on the planet is left alive.
Wow.
And when the news kind of reaches the Imperial Guard, they're pretty pissed off because it was like a really good recruiting world for them.
No.
And to this day, it says this event is used as a cautionary fable to illustrate the dangers of dispatching several assassins at once. It's like, we should send 2. Remember Thug Rock? Fuck. Okay. So yeah, they were sent to kill like a small amount of people, killed the entire planet.
I want to see that like remember 9/11 poster, but remember Thug Rock.
So yeah, I think it's crazy. Like I said, this So they especially why I guess that's why they have the rule where 2/3 of the High Lords have to agree.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like, you send him? I thought I was supposed to send him. No. I sent him. No. We all sent him?
Yeah, I was just voting every time.
Sorry.
My bad.
I like pressing yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Reign of Blood, which we'll go into at a later date because we're all super interested in it now. With Van Dyer.
Oh,
the
okay.
Ecclesiarchy and things like that.
I like how all of these assassinations sound like tracks on like a metal album.
Yeah.
You know, we've got like Thug Rock and Reign of Blood.
You know, like if I wanted to survive in the 40th millennia, like I don't think I would want to. I would want to live on a planet like Lush Gardens or something like that. Not like Vengeance Mountain or I Shot You in the Head Cavern.
I would also be a mute remembrancer because you don't get in trouble when you don't speak. So next, coming up, hot on the 37th millennium, the death of a recidivist. There was a very influential cardinal. He was called Jerome the Unsanctioned. He decided to secede from the imperial creed.
They should have seen that coming. His name would be Unsaintly.
He got an insane amount of money together by illegally taxing the population and kind of bringing everything.
One does.
His whole goal was to have enough money to buy a big enough army to take over Terra.
Okay.
That's a shitload of money, by
That
the
is
way.
a lot of money.
He was, however, shot in the roof of his mouth by a Vindicator assassin while singing a subversive hymn. So he's going to be like, fuck the emperor.
He said
him,
submersive or subversive?
Subversive.
It sounded like submersive.
That too.
We all live in a yellow submarine.
Yeah. We all live in a yellow submarine, and the emperor isn't God.
That's both submersive and subversive.
It's both.
Let's shoot him in the mouth. In the mouth hole.
That's mouth shooting for sure.
So we're going to talk a little bit now about the Mauritia incident, which you touched on a little bit with the chairs.
Okay.
This is, Urotherix, the assassin of the Venium Temple. She's sent to assassinate a renegade governor. During the transit, though, the starship is caught in a warp rift, holding the vessel in a temporary stasis for 698 years.
Oh, shit.
Just a small flaw in the plan.
No, whatevs.
Yeah.
Not knowing that this has occurred, because obviously time moves differently in the warp, she proceeds to her target, only to find that Yoal is long since dead and has been replaced by an anti-imperial democratic committee consisting of over 1,000 members.
Oh.
So, faced with such an extreme task, she succeeds in killing them after she spends 3 days poisoning every chair in the audience room. Which is, is amazing, where she's like,
yeah,
well, fuck, I gotta kill 1,000 people. All right, let's go poison some chairs.
Red rings
like,
on each one of them.
What's the one thing that all of them enjoy? Sitting.
Let's see. Puppies. No, that one has an allergy. Let's see. Long walks on the beach. No, that one's a paraplegic.
Food. No, that one's vegan.
Oh man,
Sitting. Everyone loves sitting.
So the Stargazer's demise is next. This is really cool. This was another Vindicator mission. The Lennis Scarred. He knows he is marked for death. He makes
it's in his name.
A heretical discovery that shakes the Imperial Creed. He's like, okay, shit just got really found out the truth.
Hey, I can make my own STCs? Cool.
The Vindicator assassin, he hangs upside down from a Promethean pipe for 6 days waiting for his prey, only to realize that Scarred's very well aware there's a Vindicator assassin waiting for him. And he's hiding in this observatory, just hiding out, like shit. So the assassin kind of moves, and he figures that he's going to see kind of the glint off of his telescope when he peeks out to kind of check the stars. And sure enough, he shoots him through the telescope, through the eye, and kills him from there. But after days of that.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
That's just the constantly moving plans.
Days. Come back to me when he's been sitting there for 6 years.
And then develops a
and then misses.
And only eats raw birds. He developed a taste for raw birds, and he only ever ate raw birds from there on out.
Ted, you're gonna like this one here. There's a Calidus assassin that pretended to be a grot.
Oh,
no
tell me. This is great. Two great things combined.
I
gotta model this.
She was a grot that was kind of hiding out with the Big Mac's workshop, just pretending to be a slave creature. Just as the Big Mac is kind of launching a Death Dread offensive against the Space Marines, she reveals herself, recovers her phase sword, and she decides to then hack him into fist-sized chunks.
What?
Before overloading his force field and bringing all of the Death Dreads to a stop.
That's unnecessary.
Yeah. So if you think, I just imagine this grot with a human head with a phase sword just cutting this Big Mac into burgers.
Oh, wow.
I'd also like to imagine her actually measuring out fist-sized pieces, each one, and she's like, "Nope, too big. Gotta shave it down."
That was a summer job for me. Yeah. Literally, I did that for a summer.
Carving up orcs.
Carving up orcs into fist-sized pieces.
Yeah. No. Well, yeah. Obviously.
Oh, that was a good one.
It was pretty rad.
Yeah.
Then I have a Destiny Denied back in the 41st millennium. They dispatched a Calexis assassin. In fact, they did an entire assassination force to get a Chaos Lord who was described as obscenely powerful. They failed to destroy him with an Avisor, a Vindicator, and all these other kind of operatives. Yeah. So they sent a Calexis. The Calexis follows him for years across the Eye of Terror, but doesn't do anything until he finally ascends to Demon Princehood, and then he's like, all right, now I can fuck with your shit because I'm an anti-warp being.
Can't see him.
Oh,
jeez. And then murders him with psych out grenades and blasts him in the face with the anal speculum.
Wow.
But yeah, like waits for forever just for him. Like, okay, I'm going to be way more effective when he's a Demon Prince, and he's doing pretty good right now, so it's going to be soon.
You think the Calexis like have a whole bunch of like become a demon soon like pamphlets they hand them, like maybe some like audiobooks that kind of help them along, like the Necronomicon on reel to reel.
Yeah. Give him some weighted dice so that he turns into a demon prince.
Yes. Make it fast. Let's go. I gotta kill you.
It's like, demon prince. All right.
And then I have to say one of my favorite ones right here would be the Sons of the Interstice. The Lubricate cult arises within the Adeptus Mechanicus. A body of heretics that worship the interstitial substances that keep the universe running smoothly. They worship lube.
Oh, the Vaseline cult.
The Vaseline cult, the Astroglide warriors.
Yes.
Smooth operators. Yeah.
This one kind of warms up as you use it.
So 12 of the senior Technomagi would kind of gather around a black and shimmering pool of like oil mixed with virgin blood, or
as one does,
boiling grease, and they declare like open war on their former brothers. And it's like kind of typical AdMax shit of, you don't believe oil's the best? Fuck you, I'm going to murder you. But it doesn't. So they're surrounding this pit, kind of doing their incantations and blah-da-da-da. And then an Avisor assassin kind of comes up from the oil and is like, hey, buddies.
What?
And then,
oh, no.
Within moments,
That's
murders
awesome.
every single one of them.
So it's sort of like Terminator on Rewind.
Yeah.
Where he just like comes back out of the pool. And then just
he comes up with his thumb in there.
His thumb in the air, and out of the pool, and then just
I order you to
everyone.
die! I order you! John Connor. But yeah, so he kills their leadership, and of course Qatari fall with that leadership. But I think that's rad. There's like, yeah, lube cult, lube cult, lube cult. And then like Avisor literally comes out of a little tub of lube to destroy them. And then our last big kind of thing here, it says the foe untouchable, which is everyone's like, oh, we should probably try and assassinate Abaddon. And I think my last note here is good fucking luck.
He's kind of playing an important part.
Yeah, he's kind of playing an important part there.
It's like, do not, ixnay on the actually killing him. We kind of need him for the narrative.
So they kind of need him for the narrative. So yeah, that's kind of the big assassination target right now. So that's all the main battles I want to talk about.
Nice.
Like I said, there's some really awesome stories in there.
Yeah.
And it goes to me to show the benefit of reading your old books and not just bitching that they're not good anymore.
Yeah. The rules may not be good, but all of those, all that fluff is still there.
Yeah. Come on, a lube cult.
That is bananas.
Show me your 8th edition
lube
cult.
It almost sounds like British parliamentary politics, like all the different parties, like Space Lord. Like,
the representative from the lube court, from the lube cult would like to
ridiculous.
Speak. Has the floor.
Now I want to make like a galactic senate and just be like, the floor recognizes the lube cult. Sugar water.
Toaster waffles, you're up next.
Oh man, so Ted, what else? What did you have?
So we have more assassins, like
notable people,
notable death cults.
Persona grata.
So death cults we have are also assassins, and they sometimes, depending on their status, like will hang out with assassins, or supposedly
after hours at the bar. You know.
Yeah. So we have there's 3 different death cults. Only one of them really creates assassins. But just to kind of quickly go over the death cults, and these kind of like pop up organically. It's not like there's like one, hey, join a death cult.
Yeah,
this is
like the temple of the
season
death cult.
4 of Arrow organically.
Yeah,
that's a joke for like 7 people.
I haven't watched any of them, but I was gonna say just in case, just to move the conversation along.
Yeah, it makes it sound cool.
So with the death cults, a lot of them are imperial cults that worship death and feel closer to the throne with each cut and kill. Often these cults naturally sway towards heretical, though believing that they are close to the emperor. So they're just a little off. They break down into different categories. Yeah. So the big one is the Sangori cult. I think, like you mentioned, the blood cult.
Yep.
That's probably those guys. Largely tolerated and the most widespread of the cults. They love to kill and make others bleed, sometimes taking on a near vampiric tendency. So the blood angels of the...
Blood for the emperor?
Blood for
Skulls
the emperor god.
Also for the emperor?
Blood for the god emperor. Skulls for the throne of mankind.
That's mildly heretical. Off with their heads.
You see the Inquisitor being like, ooh,
So close.
no.
I like the general theme, but on the details there. We gotta
Burn their
talk.
families.
Yeah, we gotta talk. Yeah.
I like the message, not the delivery.
Yeah. Tell you what, because you were like almost there, we'll let you keep one child. Everyone else is burning.
So they supply the Imperium with a trope of assassins. These cults tend to spring up in feudal and feral worlds, and it is rumored that they have connections to the Office Assassinorum. But it's not official.
Yeah.
And the Grandmaster's just like, I can neither confirm nor deny said reports.
We just don't have our receipts from that month.
Yeah.
Can we get back to you on that?
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
Let's see. Taco Bell,
Yeah.
Starbucks.
Taco Bell, blood bank. I mean, no blood bank. We didn't go to the blood bank.
Why did you buy 7,000 lattes? I was not visiting a blood cult.
Yeah. Or to avoid a further investigation, it's usually melt-a-bombs. They usually bury everything in melt-a-bombs. Yeah. How many melt-a-bombs is that assassin? 12.
Yeah.
So the necrophagic cults. I just really want them to be dead people
necrophilic
fuckers. Necrophagic.
Well, they do fuck people by killing them.
In their dead wieners. They spring up on worlds ravaged by war and famine. They worship death and often resort to cannibalism. This is it's the most heretical and do not seem to breed assassins.
Yeah. It seems kind of weird that people who eat other people and pray like really like death are heretical.
Mm-hmm. What's wrong with that?
I know you should survive on small mouse meat
or 1,000 psychers a day.
Yeah, unless they are eating.
They're not consuming
birds.
flesh; they're consuming spirits.
Unless they're eating, unless
birds
they're
and moss.
Unless they're eating birds and moss, they are not a part of this group. They are not allowed in here.
It's a balanced diet.
Yeah,
just humans, not a balanced diet. So then there's a resurrectionist and the reviviscators cults. This one was kind of just goofy. I think like if you're gonna have like a weird like 40K or like sci-fi cult, you have to have something like this. And this is the people that are obsessed with the resurrection of the emperor and feel that immortality is within reach for everybody. They try to grasp it. They attract the most insane followers typically, and have many attempts at creating devices that would kill the emperor. Yunari, and bring him back to walk again, citing dead but alive everlasting. They don't seem to breed assassins.
the rowboat cult.
No, it's really weird. What's your plan for saving the Imperium? Or we're going to kill the Emperor. But only temporarily.
Yeah. For like 3 seconds. And then
he'll
the
be back.
suit will kick in.
Yeah.
And he'll be good to go.
It's all good.
Yeah.
So these guys were ahead of their time.
That'll never work.
Maybe
I point to the big blue guy over there.
What if they took...
I know what else.
They know what they're doing.
What is a girly man suit and put it on the Emperor?
Mm-hmm.
Would it just be kind of like a robot walking around? Or would it... Because I think all of his humanity's gone now.
Who? The Emperor?
The Emperor, yeah.
If he ever had any.
He's a bad father, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that, like, you know, somebody who lives a long life and then they die and then they're brought back, but they're really only brought back at the point right before they're died, so they're all geriatric and shitty, versus, like, coming back in their ideal form. Like, here's the Emperor who's got, like, one eye, is all, like, no lips, and like, shriveled, nasty grossness, and then he comes back and now he's a shriveled, nasty grossness forever.
And his head's, like, a little bit distorted because he got hit by a volleyball from the custodes playing next to him. A stray ball went over there.
Permacrick in his neck. It's like was it Nosferatu from the vampire?
Yeah.
Like, dark.
Someone drew a wiener on his head in Sharpie.
Now it's forever there.
Forgetting it's a skull, so it's forever there.
You bastards. Couldn't you have brought me back when I was handsome?
Yeah. One of the custodes wrote that he was there, but it's like all over his body.
He's been around for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Custode emptied the bathroom toilet paper.
Battle of this one, winner of this volleyball game, getter of the hot dogs was here.
Oh, man, I mean, I know we keep on going back to custodes, but can you imagine them like calling each other for teams, like they line up against a wall? Who's your first pick? 7 years later.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know yet.
How come you guys keep going with the young ones? We want to play this fucking game. Move it. All right, Jeff, come on, let's go.
Yeah, we're going with Jeff. Yes. Jeff the custode.
Custode that likes knives. All right, come here.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I finally won something. That's it. You're never playing again.
You're like, who do you pick? You, who, me? No, the other guy. No, you, no, but
no, seriously, stand in
Call
the
us by name.
line. One line. We're not. I'm gonna throw a beanbag at you. If you get hit by the beanbag, you're on my team. Yeah. God damn it,
Phil.
The plays take forever.
Did you ever watch Frisky Dingo?
Yes, I
is
freaking
that?
love.
Okay,
oh my
Frisky
God.
Dingo is amazing.
Such a
It's
good
like
cartoon.
Archer before Archer,
Yeah.
but I now imagine all the custodes are like the extricles.
Let's do this. Boosh.
What is his punch?
What's rule number 1? Don't take off robot pants.
Have you noticed that all of our episodes end up with like devolving into custode like jokes? Like,
Hey man, we give people what they want, and according to our download numbers, people like custode
holy
jokes.
cow! Thank you.
Custodes are great.
I'm gonna put
They're
on the title.
golden.
That's pun number
That's
3.
an extra pun for
Keeping
you in there.
count.
Yeah,
Thanks,
throwing out some
man.
extra puns.
Yeah, I think we're good with
Okay,
assassins.
so
getting-
we'll correct the
I'm
notable
sorry,
death
no,
calls. Yeah,
fuck,
and
I'm
then we're
sorry.
done. This is the last part of the page.
Yeah.
That's already water damage.
I derailed us with custode talk. We're on a custode ban.
All right, so we'll try to make this fast.
Let's do this.
Notable death cults. We have the Sons of Despair, or Dissipator. Assassins that only value money.
Ted, you don't actually have to super rush. We can go through this. There's quality jokes in this content.
Okay. They're assassins for hire who put a near devotional appreciation for completing the contract.
Oh, so they're Ferengi.
Nerd.
Seriously, I really barely know that.
Says
reference.
the guy with a YouTube channel who's on a 40K podcast.
Wait a second, that's you too and me.
No.
Although we
we're
share
all
the YouTube
nerds.
channel, so I don't know if that.
Yeah, we're only half as nerdy. Unless people know how nerdy we are.
Okay, we're just nerdy. So, any assassin who walks away from an agreed upon contract is hunted down by the group. So this is that devotional part. However, the Inquisition like them.
Some might say they have rules of acquisition.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So the Inquisition really like a bunch of assassins that only care about being paid money and don't question what it's about? Who would have thought?
What?
That seems so crazy that they would like them.
No morals, a dogma, or anything else
Yeah.
other than completing the contract and getting paid cash money, dollar.
What?
It's almost like it's an organization with bottomless pockets and bottomless enemies.
Oh my god.
This is
I wonder why
perfect.
that's so crazy.
My hand
They
fits
get
in yours
along so
nicely.
well. Hand me glove.
The Inquisition hired them, but at one point they did run afoul. That was perhaps due to a conflicting contract. They didn't really get into it, but maybe they killed an Inquisitor. I don't know. But now the Sun's only exception to their contracts of who they will not kill is Inquisition. They will not touch Inquisition in an effort to make amends and fatten their wallets.
All right,
I was gonna
sorry
say-
we killed your Inquisitor.
Please hire us again. How about if we promise never to do it again?
All right, how
hire
about
us again?
next one's free? Is that cool? Is that cool? How's that? Really?
Yeah, the next Inquisitor we kill will be free. No! God damn it, that's not what they meant.
Hey, we're assassins, not PR officials.
Okay, fine. For every one we kill, we'll also kill an Inquisitor. Is that better? Is that what you want? No. Oh, I don't know. What do you want? Just tell us what you want. Just be like upfront. Just
And
tell us
that's
what
when
you
they
want.
come back and
I'm
they're
not
like,
a mind reader, man.
Yeah, I'm not a-
they come back and
I
they're
ain't
like,
a psyker.
oh, the we have a rogue Inquisitor. We need you to take him out. Ooh, but you just said not to kill
Literally says
Inquisitors.
in our
That
contract.
right
we
there,
have to
asterisk.
do that.
No Inquisitor.
We
so
had
close.
this discussion like a millennia ago. Yeah.
We finally got. Literally, it took us like 3 hours because we kept offering to kill
Yeah.
you.
However,
you kept saying no. So
if you give us a contract and a Sharpie, we can fix it. Because I can't say no to contracts.
Are
how
they just
about
like,
we call him like Steve, not the Inquisitor, because we've got nothing about killing not the Inquisitors.
so
right?
that the Inquisitor is just like, So you can kill this Inquisitor. That's okay. So we can kill you?
Yeah.
No.
So
not
we can
this
kill
Inquisitor.
all Inquisitors, is what you're trying to tell me.
No, God damn it.
This is why we had this conversation.
That's why they had the falling out.
Yeah.
They were so dumb they didn't realize.
All right, let's go back to dry erase board. Inquisitor,
Let's start from the
assumer. Okay, assumers are bad. Inquisitors are good. Ask
Sir,
questions, assume shit.
The giant eye with the skull means enemy? No! God damn it.
All right, we're gonna go
everything
talk
with
to
an
the
eye.
Astral Knives. They're a lot better at this game.
Maybe our second people.
So
are
the
more-
Astral Knives, a
Smooth.
secret sect of the Society of the Voidborn. That was the Blue Blood.
That literally sounds like someone's homebrew D&D character.
Yes.
I'm a Voidborn dragon.
Yes.
But I think like when we were playing Dark, was it
Heresy.
Heresy, yeah, I think we had the option of using Voidborn.
Yeah. They're people who were born on like starships. And,
Yeah,
and space
so they're
stations.
born on starships in the voids, and a group that makes their mission to keep ships safe during travel. So this is another like British parliamentary political party. We are here just to make sure that ships are safe.
We
during travel.
literally have one issue.
Unlike most groups, the members are born into it. So versus other people who are like, man, this life sucks. I'm going to go be angry over here with knives. They're just like, all right, well.
Oh, I'm going to be angry
Dad,
over
I
here
want to
with
be
knives.
a lawyer. You will be an assassin and you will like it.
So recently the sect was infiltrated by the ruinous powers and have since been deemed heretical by the Ordos Calixis.
I hate when this happens.
I know.
Every time.
Downloaded fucking malware, and then all
exactly.
of a sudden they're hunted by the
You
Inquisition.
try to have nice things, then all of a sudden they get corrupted by the ruinous forces.
This is
Uh,
why you
offered
don't-
Canadian pharmaceuticals.
This is why you don't pirate movies.
Yeah. Seriously, people. That Nigerian prince is not going to give you money. He'll
give you
just
heresy.
the ruinous powers. He will give you heresy.
There's that one penis frame in every 24 image. So they were devastated and scattered to the winds. The sect still survives as the Inquisition attempts to appropriate them, the remaining sect members, and bring them into their ranks. So,
Well, it's all family, all born into it. I think inbreeding will take care of it pretty quickly.
Well, to be fair, the Inquisition really hates anything to do with chaos, unless it can do something for them when they're trying to deal with something else. In which case, they can make an exception.
Sounds like some hardcore Ordo Hereticus.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we hate demons unless they're hosts, and then we could possibly use them. So
Let's use
we'll
this
just
chaos
put
sword.
leases on them.
Yeah, we'll just put leashes on them, right? That's probably
fine.
okay. I can't see anything. We're never gonna have a problem.
Shock collars.
Ah, damn.
That'll be fine. Who would have seen this?
They just vomited all over the cafeteria, and it was lava. So then there's like the big dog, which is the Muratat. This is the imperial death. It's an imperial death cult older than Calixis sector itself. They were supposedly, there's kind of like rumors whether or not they had actually helped establish the Calixis sector or
Spoilers, they did.
They were highly devout to the imperial creed, but with a bloody mystical bent. They believe that
like everybody. It's like, I love the emperor and I will kill for it. That's literally everybody.
yeah, I will clean this bathroom as a janitor for the emperor, and I will kill to make sure
to make sure it's
I
clean.
think the majority of 40K is I blank the emperor and I will kill for it.
Yeah, that's basically like, yeah.
Fill
Welcome
in
to the
ad
grim dark
liberness.
future where you will blank for the emperor and kill for it.
This sounds dirty. I will blank for the emperor.
Blank for the emperor.
At least my Mad Libs are.
Yeah.
So
Everything's poop.
so each cell has a master or mistress that sees to the recruitment of agents.
Is this Eyes Wide Shut again?
Just put your car keys with your hypodermic needle in the basket, and they'll see who fucks who. Each cell has and they tend to recruit in underhives, feral worlds, war zones, and whatever. Children who experience death are targeted. Adopted, raised to feed on their hate and desire for bloodshed. Anakin. A secret cult.
What are their feelings about sand?
How do they feel about the high ground? Do they feel it's important or not?
Oh, wow. The secret cult that few know about, the few often suggest that there is a connection between the Office of Show and Assassinorum. And those are assassins.
Hooray!
That's literally all the assassins that have ever been.
Yeah.
JK, there's probably a million others.
Yes.
Let's be honest.
Well, there was a whole other 5 temples.
There's all those ones we didn't talk about.
Assassins are super rad. I mean,
Yeah.
like we said earlier, they're there to send a message and kind of promote through fear for mainly planetary leadership. I mean, there's been times where like, yeah, we're going to send them against Chaos Lords and da-da-da, but the majority of what I read is to kind of subvert kind of planetary governors or other kind of people from taking over and kind of going away from the Imperium.
Yeah.
It's
They're
a
the ones
scalpel.
that, yeah, exactly. They're the ones that are keeping what is the Imperium kind of like operating. It's like if there's a real threat, they call them the Space Marines. But if there's like this one dude, bro, who's like causing trouble, you call in the assassins to go take care of him. You know. So yeah, they take care of like the minor things, and they leave the big battles to the guard and the Space Marines.
Which
like,
is
we're okay with
beautifully illustrated in the Beast that Rises series with
true.
Beast Cruel when they're doing the attack on Eleanor. And like the Space Marines and the Imperial Guard are like doing all these mass stage battles, and Beast Cruel is literally just kind of skulking through the
he's just like
streets.
walking through the streets, going along, and then he finds it. He's like, "Oh damn, I'm out. This is too big for me."
More Marines, please.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I will show you where you can throw your Marines. How's that sound?
For I cannot take them alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. Assassins, pretty awesome.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was it's neat to see like that there were a lot more, you know, like when I see the 4 models, I'm like, oh cool, that's assassins, and
Yeah.
to see that like there are, I mean,
5.
there's temples that we haven't. Oh yeah, that's true. I guess we have the Death Cult assassin models.
Oh
but,
yeah.
but yeah, we have the 5 or models, and you know, but there's more options. It seems like, you know, the fact that they left 5 temples undiscovered or really like gone through, you know, it gives you an opportunity to make up your own stuff. So
Exactly.
I mean, I think you could even take kind of like if you wanted to run the temple, just run a Calidus and just kind of have like a different model kind of in there because like the wounding rules for the Neuro Shredder I think is based off of like the poison weapon.
Okay.
So I mean, you could have that there.
That'd be kind of cool.
If you wanted to kind of like focus your battles to be like, okay, like the opponent, like the Gene Stealer cult's in turmoil, they don't know what the fuck is going on. It's like, oh, it's because the Venom operative kind of started shit going, and like kind of make some stratagems around that, or kind of different things or different tactics.
Ooh, that'd be kind of cool, like making up some like command point stratagems.
Yeah,
you know
some
what I mean?
command point
Like you
stratagems.
can spend 2 command points to make someone else re-roll a dice.
And you have that
or something like that,
yeah.
you know?
Or like
who is it? The Master of the Fleet. I don't know how that works in the new edition, but you know, it changes like it used to change like reserve rolls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Maybe you could do something like that. Yeah. There'd be kind of cool ways that you can make that work on the table.
Yeah.
Or if you wanted like a Calidus assassin that wasn't a regular one, you could use a grot.
Exactly.
But only to cut
Counts as
people into
Calidus
fist-sized
assassin.
chunks.
Yeah. But only if you're fighting Big Macs.
Yeah, Assassin's super rad. And even cheaper on the table now.
I've seen a lot more of them nowadays. So.
It's because they're so cheap.
Oh, okay.
So cheap.
70 points for a Vindicare, or 90 points for a Vindicare,
It's like
70 points for an
Adversar. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Heck yeah.
That's dope.
It's
so
like,
good.
It's like throwaway points.
Yeah. It's like I have 100 points spare, guys. I'll throw an Assassin in.
Nice.
Imperium. So it goes. Okay. Well, for episode 53 of Mob Rules, I've been John.
Thanks for joining us, John. I mean, you other listeners.
Wait, who are you?
I don't know. I'm just
John, Ted,
my arms in
Phil.
the air.
I'm Phil.
You're Phil.
I'm Ted.
We'll be back in 2 weeks with something.
Yes.
All right. Bye.
Bye. This episode of Mob Rules has been brought to you by Mob Rules Media. Please join our Facebook group to be part of the conversation at facebook.com/mobrulesak. You can also email us at themob@tophat-arts.com. Thanks for checking us out, and we will see you in 2 weeks.